looking live at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where the Falcons and the Cowboys feature high-paid rookies. Troy Aikman did not yield instant dividends on Dallas's $11 million investment. But as for immediate returns, Neon Deion Sanders flashed his $4 million form on a 68-yard punt return. Out in the Midwest, the New Orleans Saints make their first ever visit to Green Bay's historic Lambeau Field. Saints quarterback Bobby Hebert is off to a strong start. He completed 84% of his passes in last week's opening day victory. And in our nation's capital, it's been a short week for the Redskins as they welcome the Eagles and Rocket Randall Cunningham, who is being touted in many quarters as the prototype pro football player of the 90s.
Philadelphia fans are hoping that Cunningham and the Eagles will be the team of the 90s. I visited with head coach Buddy Ryan and found he's having fun now. And for the rest of the league, that's no laughing matter.
No matter who emerges as the team of the 90s, chances are by then some teams will be playing in different cities. I'll have the latest on the owner's popular new pastime, musical franchises.
It's homecoming day for two premier running backs. Herschel Walker returns to Georgia, while Eric Dickerson plays his first game in Anaheim since the trade 2 years ago. We'll talk live with the latest 10,000-yard man. All that and more coming up on the NFL Today.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger, and welcome to Week 2 on the NFL Today. Who would have thought that one of the centers of excitement would be Atlanta, where the Falcons have sold out for the first time in 2 years, in part because of Neon Deion's primetime show, but also because for Georgia fans, this is the second coming of Herschel Walker. How about them Dog fans? They scooped up the last remaining tickets to see their Heisman hero in action. Now, Herschel was hardly heroic last week. He was held to just 10 yards on 8 carries, and he was not happy.
These years I've been here, I've stated that I love to get the ball. You know, I can't really do anything without the ball in my hand.
Every player wants the football as many times as he can get it. And we understand that. And Herschel is a very talented individual, and we want him to have the football. It's not like we're trying to keep him from getting it. We want him to have the football. The only thing is we'd like to have the old offense have the football. We just didn't have it very much Sunday. We only had it 15 minutes.
Herb, what's the latest with Herschel?
Well, he was upset about not carrying the ball. Brent, as a matter of fact, a story came out of Dallas saying that if he didn't carry the ball more by the 8th week of the season, he would request a trade. So I talked to Cowboy owner Jerry Jones this morning, and he told me that no such talks had taken place between Herschel and the club. As a matter of fact, Herschel came back to the Cowboys and apologized for his early temper tantrum earlier in the week. But he's currently under contract now for 2 more years, and the club is considering right now continued negotiations with him.
You know, I can remember when Eric Dickerson really blew his way out of Anaheim. Now, what about Herschel? What would he be worth on the open market, Will?
Well, I think in the league they would call this a Lawrence Welk trade. That's a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. That was coined by Don Klosterman. He was the general manager of the Rams, and he traded Roman Gabriel, John Hadle, and then later Jim Plunkett traded Dickerson, all 1s and 2s and another player. I think he'd be in that range.
Don't remind the Packers of the Hadle trade. And it was 2 years ago when the Rams pulled the trigger on that deal of the decade. The centerpiece, of course, was the all-pro running back Eric Dickerson. He joins us now live. Eric, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Eric, when you left Anaheim and the Rams, there were some real bitter feelings. And in looking at the clips this week, you have not gotten over some of them. You have not had good things to say, for example, about John Robinson.
Well, one thing is they keep bringing it up to me. I wish they let it die, but they won't. The media out here in Orange County won't let it die out. And to me, it was just a business decision, and it worked out well for them and myself, and I think the Buffalo Bills.
Eric, last week, you became, if not the youngest, certainly the first back to break 10,000 yards in just over 90 games. That busted Jim Brown's record. Is one of your goals to surpass Walter Payton eventually and become #1?
Well, right now, no. My goal is to get a Super Bowl ring, if that's possible, and then maybe pass Walter Payton. But for sure, I think about things like that because Walter was a great running back, and I think he sits alone in front of everyone else.
Eric, what's the key to longevity? Staying healthy would be the obvious answer to that. But how did someone like Walter Payton stay in such good shape, and what do you do to remain that physical, conditioned athlete that you have to be?
Well, one thing is you have to stay fit and in good shape in the off season. And ever since I was in college, since my senior year, I've weighed around 217 and 220. and my weight hasn't changed much. I think that's one thing that keeps me pretty much healthy because I stay in pretty good shape in the off season. I run, I ride my bike, and I stay pretty healthy when I come to the season.
Eric, good luck. How about those Mustangs last night?
Yeah, I heard those Mustangs won a game. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, let's show everybody the winning touchdown. I know you haven't seen it. You didn't even know they'd won this morning, but here it is. And the quarterback for SMU will do his best imitation of one Doug Flutie. Well, you remember when Flutie used to drop this ball off?
This is the same type of play. Gets up to the line, he drops it over, a little basketball pass.
And that breaks Connecticut's heart. 31-30, SMU a winner. Another upset last night was this one. Oklahoma did not score a touchdown. They were beaten by Arizona 2 field goals to 1. And the final 6-3, the Sooners go down to their first defeat this season. Well, last year's glamour boy in college football, one of them has joined the NFL. Tony Mandarich has not played it down yet for the Packers, but the second pick in this year's draft has already had a big impact on the small town of Green Bay. Pat O'Brien has that story.
It is the dawning of a new age in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but it's not a quiet one because Tony Mandarich has hit town. So, Tony, welcome to Green Bay. What do you think so far?
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, I've seen worse. It could be Siberia.
Tony Mandarich is getting ready for football, heavy metal music, and heavy metal. On this day, he wonders what the team record is for 315 pounds. He learns it's 19 repetitions.
You guys won't believe me. I got 23 the day I would have reported to camp. Yeah.
Excess is a good word for Tony. All you have to do is look at him and listen to him. This was laying on your kitchen counter.
Yeah.
Tell me what it says.
$176,395.20.
How does that feel? This is the first part of your bonus check.
That feels like the government takes a lot of money.
It is no secret that the Green Bay Packers are delighted that Tony Mandarich is now in town, as are the fans here in Green Bay. But nobody is happier about Mandarich's arrival than the folks at the local food center here on Lombardi Avenue. You will eat this?
Yeah, one meal, easy. Plus, like rice or whatever else we have.
He is arguably the greatest offensive line prospect ever, and he's also just a little bit different. But go ahead. You argue with him. Pat O'Brien, CBS Sports, Green Bay.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mandarich will be activated and expect to see some action for the Packers next week. Now, when we come back, Dick Butkus will go one-on-one with Eagles boss Buddy Ryan as the NFL Today continues live on CBS.
The NFL Today is sponsored by True Value Hardware Stores. For quality selection and personal attention, make True Value Hardware your store of first choice. The Menon Company. All over the world, Menon products take care of people who take care of themselves. And by Radio Shack, the technology store, America's leader in consumer electronics.
I give 110%. So does Speed Stick deodorant. Has no alcohol to evaporate. Its protection lasts all day. 110% protection that glides on. That's your edge.
Speed Stick deodorant, the wide stick.
Leaf by leaf, nature tells you it's time for fall cleanups. But first, get everything you'll need from True Value Hardware Stores. This True Temper lawn rake with steel tines is only $3.49. And get tough Service trash bags, just $2.77 a pack. A Master Mechanic 25-foot power tape rule is only $7.99. And the waterproof Tough Light by Garrity is just $4.88 in the fall preview circular from participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
Sometimes you got it today. Emerson's got it right. Fine-tune your life. Nobody's gotta tell you. Emerson does it right. Fine-tune your life. Fine-tune your life with Emerson.
Xerox presents the Great American Torture Test. We challenge the bone-numbing cold of northern Alaska and intense city traffic. Traveled coast to coast to the suffocating heat of Death Valley and passed with flying colors. Xerox, Because extreme conditions demand extreme protection.
Today's union movement is all about giving people a voice in what goes on at work and in supporting one another. I believe in that. I said union, yes.
America works best when we say union, yes.
It's only week 2, but already an important matchup in the NFC East. Washington coach Joe Gibbs is 12-4 lifetime against the Eagles, while Philadelphia coach Buddy Ryan is 0-3 at RFK in Washington. Hey, you were with Buddy in Philadelphia. What was it like down there this week?
Well, it was very refreshing, and I think this piece will show you why. He sounds the same.
Come on, baby, knock his ass back here.
Here we go. He looks the same.
Give him a look. Get up, get up, get up. Good.
Oh, that's it.
But there is a difference in Buddy Ryan this year. He seems, well, happy. Last year, plays such as this one would drive him crazy. But if last week is any indication, the Eagles' defense has gotten to the level that some say is good enough for a trip to the Super Bowl. Has Buddy really mellowed? There was only one way to find out. And so this week I dropped by his suburban Philadelphia hideaway, and sure enough, I found a man at peace with himself.
It's a great feeling. I mean, it's fun to coach here now because everybody's on the same page, you know. Whenever you having to discipline people all the time and trying to get them your way and get rid of people and bring other people, it's no fun.
Nowadays, there's plenty of fun, just hanging out with his buddies.
They can jump on Louis' leg or something.
Hey, we'll get another kicker. That's easy.
We had last year, we had 6 of them. You see what that got us?
Not everyone is cut out for the buddy system. Ryan has stockpiled the kinds of players he thinks will do the job. And as more of Buddy's buddies came aboard, the victories followed. But make no mistake, Ryan cares about quality, not quantity.
Some guys you go talk to that are great talents, supposedly. I mean, all they really want to do is sign the autographs, wear the good shirts and the beautiful coats and comb their hair and drive the convertibles. I'm not interested in those kind of guys. I'm interested in those kind of guys who want to work to win a Super Bowl.
In the past, Ryan took a hammering in the press for his unorthodox approach. Now the media can't get enough of him, and neither can the fans.
We play the game where it's supposed to be. All out, full tilt, take no prisoners, don't shake hands after the game, get out.
Even his old players took a while before catching on.
It was just so hard to understand, but then after you saw that there was a definite method to his madness, then, you know, everybody began to rally around him, and you know, we took a liking to him.
In his football travels, Buddy Ryan has always known success, and his coaching has touched the lives and careers of some of the greatest players the game has known. At each stop, this wandering genius has produced winners, and today, it's no different.
It took us a while to figure Buddy out, but we know that he's for us. He stuck his neck out for us, so we'll live and die for Buddy.
I really believe in my heart if it wasn't for Buddy, I probably wouldn't want to play here.
He gave me another chance, and I respect him very much for that opportunity. I thank God for him.
And I handle each one just like, you know, they're my kids. And that way it's always fair, but it's always fun, too.
We got a ball for you.
He's up against a good offense today.
Well, Buddy Ryan has said publicly that he wants to improve his pass rush. Now, a lot of other linemen would start snipping and snapping that the head coach is picking on them. Not so with the Eagles. Reggie White called a meeting of all the defensive linemen. Reggie said, look, a lot of us will be double teamed, so who's ever left one-on-one must get to the quarterback. Now, that's a direct, straight-out responsibility, and I like that.
You know, expect the Eagles to come up with something different today, though, Brent. You know, one of the coaches told me, Irv, don't get me wrong. He said, but in the past, when we played the Redskins, we felt like we had to play our best game to win. Today, we're a much improved football team. If we play our football, we'll be okay. Expect some kind of unusual strategy early.
We return Will McDonough's Inside Look as the NFL Today continues here on CBS.
How much insulation do you have in your attic? 3 inches? 6 inches? Well, the Department of Energy recommends R38 for most American homes, which is equivalent to a foot of Owens Corning pink fiberglass. So grab a ruler and measure your attic insulation. Then get rolling. Because 12 inches of pink fiberglass can help you get a foothold on your energy bills.
Over its life, a Motorcraft battery delivers enough energy to light up a small park, like Candlestick Park. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford. A Motorcraft spark plug has to fire 500 times a minute. Over its life, that's a spark 5 miles long. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
I used pressure-treated lumber, and I still have $800 in water damage. How come?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal protection.
This patio was supposed to last for years. Now I have $1,200 in damage. Why?
Your concrete wasn't protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Thompson's penetrates into wood, brick, or concrete to form a barrier water can't get past, even when driven by 98-mile-per-hour winds.
Let it rain. This time I use Thompson's, a great defense against repair expense.
Thompson's, the first name in lasting protection.
What's the difference? It takes too long to learn to use a computer.
Wrong. DeskMate makes the difference with graphics that guide you.
Learning new software is like starting over.
Not now. DeskMate uses the same plain English commands with different programs like load a spreadsheet for DeskMate.
A computer? I wouldn't know what to do.
Now you will. DeskMate makes the difference.
DeskMate is simple.
It's PC compatible.
DeskMate is even easier on Tandy computers.
The friendly face in the PC crowd at Radio Shack and participating dealers.
City of Sacramento went wild this week following a unanimous vote of the City Council approving a $50 million offer to Al Davis to bring his Raiders up north to California's capital. And, Will, is he going to go to Sacramento, or is he going to go to Oakland, or is he going to stay in L.A.? What's he going to do?
Well, I think this week will tell pretty much, Brent, because I understand this Thursday night in Oakland, the City Council is supposed to get this 70-page document that shows how much they're supposed to spend. And after they find out, we'll see what Oakland does after that.
What about the implications around the league?
Well, you know, in the 80s, Brent, you had 3 teams moved to different cities. You had 3 more teams threatened to move and stayed. All of them made out financially. They get better deals. Some are worth $10 million a year more to that team to stay. Now what you're going to see is in this decade, it's already started. Tampa Bay's trying to renegotiate. Buffalo, Ralph Wilson, the owner, told me this week, we've already sent the signal. You know, when our lease is up, we're on the way out. I think you're going to see it in New England. Every time a team is at the bottom of the financial totem pole in the league, they will threaten to leave when their lease is up.
There's an agent by the name of Mike Blatt who's in some serious trouble.
That's a developing story in the league, Brent. You know, Mike Blatt and his company, SunWest, out in Stockton, California, represents 40 to 50 NFL players. Now, Mike Blatt has been charged with murder out in Stockton. Families of these players have called up the league, from what I understand, and say, could you look into that company and make sure the money that our friends have in there, these players, is protected. So they're investigating that right now. You're talking about millions of dollars.
Neon Deion Sanders, speaking of millions of dollars, let's go back to last Sunday. Here he is with his second punt return of the day.
Deion drifts to the left, takes it on the 32, dropped it. Picked it up, one man missed him, another man missed him. Now he's going wide off to the right. Deion to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. My God, Deion Sanders is going to score. My God.
Is he also going to go back and play baseball again?
Listen, I knew Deion was going to make that, but I didn't know if the announcer was going to. Here's the thing with Deion that's kind of interesting. Nobody's really talked about in his contract, but if he plays baseball, the Falcons have the right to extend his contract for a 5th year. If he doesn't play baseball, it's a 4-year contract, and he can renegotiate right away at the end of 4.
Hey, we made a lot out of the lottery last week in Oregon. Was it a success?
Oh, I think the thing was a failure, Brent. I mean, you had 89,000 people, bet a total of $221,000. That's $2.40 apiece. They had to throw in more money to give it the people that won prizes. And I think what's going to happen are all the states thinking about lotteries, and there are a bunch of them around the country, are going to watch this for about a month and see if they want to get involved.
What about Steve Pallur and the Dallas Cowboys?
You know, Steve Pallur a year ago this time was the starting quarterback of the Cowboys. Then they got the 2 kids. Now they didn't need him. He held out in a contract dispute. They have tried to trade him to 3 teams: Atlanta, a week ago this time New Orleans, and Kansas City. I was talking to Jerry Jones, their owner, this week. He said, as far as we're concerned, he's going to be out for the year. We can't make a deal for him. If we did, it would be with a contender, and we couldn't get the same trade that we had with Atlanta a few weeks ago, and we wouldn't want to do it.
Okay, well, when we come back, we're going to check in live with Dan Hampton of the Chicago Bears, who is an early arrivee at Soldier Field for their game later today against the Minnesota Vikings.
changed about the game. Today, the best in the business fly. And the airline that takes over 300 college and pro teams to their chosen field is United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Grandma, isn't this fun?
Oh. I want my Serta.
Get a Serta Perfect Sleeper. The exclusive Serta surface will spoil you for sleeping any other way.
I want my Serta.
Sharp. When I say sharp, I mean
Copiers on the cutting edge of technology.
sharp.
Sharp puts their most advanced technology into every Sharp copier, from desktop to midsize to high-speed heavyweight.
I mean
breakthrough technology. Sharp's high-impact color copier.
I mean
future technology.
Sharp.
That's why businesses have made Sharp copiers #1 in customer satisfaction.
When I say sharp, I mean business.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. Put it out, it just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tenactin. It cures recovering athlete's foot. Use it regularly. It'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tenactin puts the fire out for good.
Well, this doesn't look very interesting. I mean, I thought you'd have me try something a little fancier, maybe with nuts and fruit cocktail. These are nothing but flakes. It isn't at all what I expected. I like it. Oh, I get it. It's a whole new kind of cereal. Simple and back to basics, right? I like it.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Corn Flakes?
Taste them again for the first time.
Dick, I thought you'd be all enthused about the Bears and the Vikings, but you say they're not clicking on all cylinders.
Well, I think after last week against Cincinnati, some of the players aren't given 100%. I think they're so used to being able to turn it on when the game starts that with the Vikings, they better be revved up before they step on the field.
I'll tell you someone who gives 100% all the time is Dan Hampton. He now joins us live. Dan, good morning. What about Dick's observation that some of the players are going to have to put out a little bit more against the Vikings? You buy into that?
Well, Brent, I think Dick's exactly right. I think the Bears have been so good so long that a lot of players maybe think they can go out and coast through it and, you know, come away with the win, even if they didn't give 100 or 110%, as the old cliche goes. I think today it's got to be all hands on deck to beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Dan, you have really stepped up and assumed some leadership roles. This is a very young team. I noticed some of the cutaways of the game against Cincinnati. You were very verbal during that game on the sideline last week.
Well, actually, I was just talking to the water boy, telling me he didn't put enough ice in my Gatorade cup, Brent. I think what it is this is a young football team. Guys like Singletary, McMichael, myself. You know, if we're going to get to New Orleans, a lot of us are going to have to really shoulder a lot of the leadership responsibility. And hey, if we're getting drove around like Cincinnati was beating on us last week, I think somebody has to stand up and say, hey, enough of this. Let's play some football.
What kind of a grade did you give the coach, Mike Ditka, last week?
I give Coach an A for the training camp in the first couple of weeks of the season. I think he's done everything exactly right. A lot of times, maybe the grade wouldn't have been so high, but I tell you what, the players are behind Mike 100%, and we feel like today is the day that the Bears come out and play like the Chicago Bears are supposed to.
You know, the Vikings beat you not once but twice last year and embarrassed you, as a matter of fact, in Soldier Field.
It reminds me of the last time I went to a restaurant with Dick Buck, because I had like a bad taste in my mouth for a long time, and I think that's the way the players are approaching this game. You know, we don't like getting beat by anybody, let alone a Central Division team twice in the same year. So I think this is the year, and you can tell Dick, I said this is the game where the Bears are going to get real big.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Will, your feeling about the Viking-Bear rivalry?
I want to know, you skip out in the check again? Is that what he's talking about? I think it's... Yeah, you. We've been there with you before, you know. I think it's becoming the best rivalry in football, and might be for the next 2 or 3 years, because both teams are still really young, and I think Minnesota now is getting to a point where they might have a little edge on the Bears.
All right, upset special. Tampa Bay will shock the Super Bowl champion. You don't buy into that,
No, that would be a real shocker. The 49ers are a great road team, Brent. I know it's early in the season. They might take Tampa Bay for granted. They won't. Last year, they were 7-2 on the road. They're undefeated on the road this year, and they're just too far superior to Tampa Bay.
How quickly they change. Last year, they're drilling Vinny into the ground. He has a great game last week. They're going to be a surprise team, Irv. Come on.
But not surprise enough to beat the 49ers, Dick. I mean, that's a different class.
Well, I really think the Buccaneers have got a shot down. What were the 49ers after 11 games? Like 6-5 last year?
Yeah, and then they come on strong. You know, I think the thing with Tampa Bay is with Ray Perkins, he's the kind of team, you look at his background, he always builds with a young team.
All right, let me pass along a quick reminder now for those of you in New York, L.A., Chicago, certain other cities. The NFL on CBS will come back at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. So long, everybody.
Tonight, get ready for the CBS Premier Spectacular with host Angela Lansbury, Tim and Daphne Reed of Snoops, Lindsay Wagner's Peaceable Kingdom, Richard Chamberlain, Island Sun, with Candace Bergen and the cast of Murphy Brown. And a special sneak preview of Major Dad, all in the CBS Premier Spectacular. Then, service! When Steve Martin falls for Daryl Hannah, one thing gets in his way.
Cut thing off!
Roxanne, tonight.
This is CBS.
The circulatory system of your car. That's where Texaco's new System 3 gasoline starts to bring new life to fuel injectors and valves. It can keep new cars running like new and actually help restore performance to older cars. You'll get more power from every octane. 5 tanks is all we ask.
Do something definitely different at Crystal. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of Dorothy and Friends in The Wizard of Oz. Order a Coke for 99 cents and get a 50th anniversary Wizard of Oz glass at Crystal. Each week a different character. Collect all 6. This week only, take home the Good Witch Glinda. But hurry before time runs out.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
The engines have developed much more horsepower over the last few years. The racing engines have changed with the development of better quality metals. The lubrication end of it now is much more critical. Oils that you used to use would form the buildups now, the sludge, for instance. Now, you have to have oils that are specially formulated.
Ken Watts, weekends on Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Dallas Cowboys' hopes were high after a successful preseason, but Coach Jimmy Johnson's smile and those high hopes were wiped out last week 28-0 by the New Orleans Saints. Rookie Troy Aikman survived his opening day test, but Herschel Walker only carried the football 8 times, and he's call him Neon Dion, call him prime time, call it a touchdown for Deion Sanders less than 6 minutes into his NFL career. Atlanta still hasn't recovered. The Falcons responded with new spirit, and despite losing to the Rams, a big play offense as this Atlanta team ready to light up the scoreboard. Herschel Walker ran to glory at the University of Georgia 7 years ago. Today, he returns for the first time as a professional. But will he run often enough to lift Dallas's hopes once again? The Cowboys take on the Atlanta Falcons. Fulton County Stadium is sold out for the first time in 2 years. The Cowboys are a draw, but the main reason, Herschel's homecoming as Herschel Walker comes back to Georgia. And it could not be a more perfect day here in Atlanta. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Zabriskie, and welcome to CBS's continuing coverage of the National Football League. 2 teams who each lost their openers last week, but 2 teams who each feature one of the top rookies in the NFL. For the Atlanta Falcons, Neon Deion Sanders, of course, has lit up the town. And in Dallas and all over the country, really, everybody's talking about their fine rookie quarterback, Troy Aikman. My partner today is the coach, Hank Stram. And Hank, the big story for the Cowboys is after the great preseason, are they going to rebound from that devastating opening loss to New Orleans?
Steve, I think that Jimmy Johnson is a good salesman, and you have to be a good salesman to be a coach, but I think he's going to sell his team on the idea that they have to play today, they have to express their true personality, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do, and I think we're going to see Herschel Walker dominate the offensive scheme by at least being involved in a game with 20 or 30 plays.
Well, on the other side of the field, the Atlanta Falcons may have lost their opener, but I think they maybe learned a lot about themselves that they didn't know going into the season, and maybe they have something to build on this week.
Well, you know, it's surprising that you talk to a team and talk to a coaching staff who just lost a game in the National Football League and that they feel good about the loss. However, they do feel good about the fact that they made a lot of progress. They have something to hang their hat on. They played very good, very very tough, consistently aggressive against the Los Angeles Rams last week, and as a result, I think they feel that they've got a good future, they're on the right track, and that they're going to be a good football team as the season progresses.
They certainly did have some type of a base as they found out they could score some points. But here, they have lost the toss. Dallas has won. They have elected to receive. Scott Ankrum, number 81, and number 86, James Dixon, are back deep to receive. And it's the rookie Dixon fumbling the football inside the 5, but now the ball goes out of bounds, and a penalty flag goes up. And they're going to re-kick it, apparently, as the ball went out of bounds. The referee today is Jerry Markbright, one of the more senior officials in the National Football League. And he was going to make an announcement, but now he wants to be sure.
Free kick out of bounds. The ball awarded to the receivers at the 35-yard line by rule. First down.
That's exactly what happens in that kind of a situation. The ball goes out of bounds. You just get one shot. It goes out of bounds. The other team gets it on the 35.
I think the big confusion was whether or not the ball had been touched by James Dixon and then went out of bounds. But the Cowboys have it 1st and 10 at their own 35. Herschel Walker in the backfield along with Broderick Sargent. Sargent, they think a lot of, did not start against New Orleans last week. Aikman on 1st down, incomplete. Nobody was there but Scott Case for Atlanta. Aikman, 2nd NFL start, did not do badly against New Orleans, and this is the offensive unit he will work with today. Up front, it's Tuanay, Newton, Rafferty in his 14th year, Kerr, Gogan, and the tight end Folsom. In the backfield with him, Herschel Walker, Broderick Sargent, and the wideouts Kelvin Martin and Michael Irvin are outstanding. Cornell Burbage and James Dixon in on 3rd and or long yardage situations. 2nd down and 10, still at the Dallas 35. Walker. And the Atlanta defense, Andre Bruce, Tony Casillas, and others, including Marcus Cotton right there. Up front, it's Gann, Casillas, and Bryan. In the 3-4 alignment, Andre Bruce, a great rookie season last year, Rady Tuggle, and the veteran Joel Williams. Bobby Butler, Scott Case, 2 veteran cornerbacks, Cooper and Gordon the safeties, and Demry and Moore will be in there as the extra DBs.
You know, Steve, you're playing at home in this kind of a game. You'd much rather start your game on defense, and that's why this game is going to be very emotional up front, defensively.
And they have shut down the first running play. It's 3rd down and 10 out of the shotgun. Complete to Michael Irvin. He has a blocker. Touchdown, Dallas. A 65-yard touchdown play on 3rd and 10.
Here we see the isolation. Now look at him break to the inside on an inside route. Scott Case is covering on the play. He has him covered pretty well, but he gets a little bit behind. Irvin has that kind of speed. Makes a good move down here. There was a downfield block just enough to nick the defensive back. But Irvin changes the scoreboard and goes all the way in for the touchdown. Evan Cooper was the last one to had a chance to make the tackle, number 20.
So Roger Ruzek with the extra point, and it is good. And very quickly here in Atlanta, just less than 2 minutes gone, 7-0 Dallas.
Did you know that there's only one company that's willing to stand behind its 800 service and guarantee that your calls get through? We have a new AT&T 800 assurance policy which says the call must get through. If you're using AT&T's basic 800 service and all of a sudden there's a problem and you're not getting your calls, Well, we can start to send those same calls to a regular telephone line right there in your office, and we can do that within an hour, guaranteed, get you back in service. We could probably do it quicker.
Over the past decade, all other lines of cars have led Mercedes-Benz in one crucial category: depreciation. Which proves that sometimes great cars finish last. Mercedes-Benz, the resale legend.
Well, we can never agree on a restaurant, right?
Hey, I ordered already. I found us a great wine.
Oh, a decision maker. Oh, this is wonderful wine. I had this at David's.
I served this at my place. It was a big hit. You guys, I was hoping you hadn't tried it yet.
Oh, come on. Look, we finally found something we all agree on, you know? I mean, when was the last time that happened?
Ernest and Julio Gallo invite you to try White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
Herschel Walker was over congratulating Michael Irvin on the 65-yard touchdown pass. Dallas using only 1 minute and 11 seconds of this ball game to get their first touchdown of the year. They played 60 minutes, Hank, last week without scoring. They had one called back against New Orleans.
You know, the other thing that's amazing about what happened was the fact that the Atlanta Falcons play a lot of zone defenses. You have to be patient. You have to take the trolley car and not the airplane when you play against them offensively. And to score like they did is quite an unusual thing.
Certainly got Marion Campbell and Atlanta's attention. Roger Ruzick will kick it off. Back deep to receive George Thomas and Keith Jones. And it's going to be Keith Jones who takes it at about the 3. And only to the 12, Bill Bates, who has been such a performer on special teams throughout his career for the Cowboys, down to make the play, but there is a flag down on the field. And it was thrown as soon as the ball was received by Keith Jones. So let's hear Jerry Markbright's call.
Illegal block, number 95, on the return, first down.
There's another look at the 65-yard Dallas. Aikman to Irvin.
The key to the success of this play, watch the pass protection. Look at all the time he has to throw. Look at all the time in the world. Step, throw, deliver, follow through. And I might add, really looked like Scott Case had a chance to make the tackle and just missed the tackle on the play, and the rest is history. But I might add, Steve, that I talked to Jimmy Johnson on the field before the game, and he said he went over to the linemen personally and talked to them about doing a much better job this week from an overall blocking standpoint.
He certainly did that time. John Settle hanging straight ahead, getting a yard or two is all out near the 9. Ken Norton and Jim Jeffcoat on the stop for Dallas. Miller just had a superb week, a career high, almost 300 yards passing. And here's the unit he'll be operating behind today. Up front, they're for the most part young and somewhat beat up and a little bit out of position. Ken, Robinson, Dukes, Fralick, of course, he just came back to camp. Settle and Lang in the backfield, and they've got some great wide receivers, Haynes and Collins, both out of northern Arizona. Collins, a rookie who had 6 catches last week. Second down and 7. Miller's first pass too tall, intended for Michael Haynes. He had some pressure from Ed Too Tall Jones. Let's look at that Dallas defensive unit. Of course, Too Tall, unbelievable, in his 15th year. Willie Broughton out of Miami. Hamill, who is starting this week, and that's an interesting story. And Jim Jeffcoat up front. Burton, Lockhart, and Norton at the linebackers. Eugene's been around a long time. Then in the secondary, Everson Walls, the veteran, Williams, Horton, and Albritton, who's getting a start at strong safety, with Francis and Hendricks, the nickel and dime package. Third down and 7. Draw play to Settle. And a good play by Ken Norton, as Settle's only able to pick up about 3, and the punting unit will come on.
One thing they had to do this week over what they didn't do last week was fill with the linebackers. The defensive line of the Cowboys are getting off the ball very aggressively, try to make offensive people make a quick decision as to what they're going to do, and as a result, why linebackers have to fill very quickly. Last week they didn't, that time, Norton did a good job, and you showed them what happened with the results.
Kelvin Martin in his 3rd year out of Boston College, the lone receiver. And Scott Folhay, who averaged just over 41 points a kick in the opener last week, will kick it from about the goal line. Martin calls for a fair catch, taking it at the Dallas 49. 12 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It is 7-0. The Cowboys leading the Falcons.
Recently, Road and Track magazine concluded a search for the world's 5 best cars. After exhaustive testing and analysis, they chose 4 exotic sports cars. And even more significantly, only 1 sedan. The Mercedes-Benz 300E.
Dry is bold and wet. The taste of dry is less sweet. Michelob Dry, brewed longer, so taste after taste, there's just no aftertaste. Michelob Dry, bold taste with no aftertaste.
Performance. For some people, it's more than a passion. It's a way of life. Well, for all those people for whom good enough just isn't good enough, there's Speed Stick Antiperspirant. Nothing is lighter. Nothing glides on drier. Nothing gives you all-day protection in a bigger way. All-day performance that's hard to beat. If you're going to give 110%, your antiperspirant should give 110% too. Speed Stick, the white stick.
By Menon.
Well, this may not be college ball. JJ stands for Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones. In fact, you could have 4 J's up there. These 2 guys, of course, Jones the owner and Jimmy the new coach.
Well, I think he's going to do. I think he's going to do an excellent job for Dallas. I really do. You don't win, and here's Marion Campbell, who has proven what a great defensive coach he has been. He's done a terrific job defensively with his team, and they've got to catch up offensively, and I'm sure they will as the season goes along. On one side, a guy in his first year in the NFL. The other side, Marion Campbell in his 28th year in the NFL. A reverse. Michael Irvin and Aikman with the block. Irvin gains about 5 before he's run out of bounds by Robert Moore. Now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for an NFL Today update.
Well, Steve, the Washington Redskins have bounced back from there, so they're up by 13. Back to Steve.
Thanks, Brent. They certainly know Gerald Riggs here in Atlanta, don't they?
They sure should, the way he's played. He was terrific.
Gain of 6 on the reverse. It's 2nd down and 4, and Herschel Walker goes nowhere. Maybe even loses a yard. Tony Casillas, the nose tackle. And Atlanta's front, so far, Hank's doing a very good job.
Casillas is a great slider. He plays on the nose of the center, number 75. Reads, react, and responds. He took a good angle from the inside and made the tackle on the inside. He's a great player and is having a very, very good season so far, talking about the preseason and now.
Casillas comes out on 3rd and 6. As Herschel lost yardage back to the 46. Really about 5.5 yards to go. Aikman from the shotgun. Incomplete. Bobby Butler. And now a penalty flag goes down late, and Butler's upset. Initially, there was no flag. A very close play. And then late, a flag is thrown in, and it looks like it's going to be interference against Butler.
Well, it might be. Usually what happens in that kind of a situation, Steve, the left hand.
Pass interference. Defense. Automatic first down.
Watch what happens here now. We'll see if Butler goes over the top and gets him in the back. Well, you can't see for sure.
Well, it was close. The official closest to the play was actually behind Butler. The official on the far side of the field is the one who came in and threw the flag.
And that's the case usually when he sees him. hit him with the left hand.
So now it's a first down Cowboys at the Atlanta 41. Dallas leading 7-0 in the first quarter. Aikman the pass. Good protection and overthrown. Kelvin Martin was coming back for the ball, and it looked like Aikman thought he was going to continue up and out. Scott Case was covering.
Looked like there was miscommunication on the play, as you just mentioned. Troy thought he was going one way, and the receiver thought he was supposed to go to the other. That time, the play action fake inside. Reedy did a good job of selling the run, and he had pretty good protection on the play.
But it is now 2nd and 10, still just outside the 40 of Atlanta. 10:55 to go in the first quarter. Walker. Again, nowhere to run. A penalty flag down again in the Dallas backfield. Scott Case coming up on the tackle of Herschel Walker. And although he doesn't look it, Scott Case, whom in street clothes you wouldn't even think he was a football player, one of the hardest hitters in the NFL. We'll see what the penalty is.
Illegal block, number 66, offense. 2nd down.
Well, that can happen, Hank, when guys are running around back there and turning, and you can very easily hit a guy from behind. And it's Kevin Gogan.
Well, that time, too, you know, Herschel Walker looked like the play was designed to go inside, and it looked like Gogan had a chance to make the block, but missed on the opportunity because Herschel bounced outside just where he was trying to make the block.
The 10-yard penalty moves it back just outside midfield. So from the 49, now the Cowboys at 2nd and 20. Irvin hit immediately, dropped by Bobby Butler. A gain of about 7 or 8, gain of 9 actually on the play. So almost the penalty yardage. It'll be 3rd and 11.
Jimmy Johnson must have done a good job of selling. Look at the cushion of the defensive back, Bobby Butler. He's giving him too much ground. He comes back. Irvin comes back for the ball. The ball is thrown just right at the chin. Then he comes back and makes the play. But again, the pass protection that time, the key was the pass protection was excellent, Steve. There's no rush whatsoever on the part of Atlanta.
Aikman finally, for the first time all season, including the preseason, getting a chance and some time to throw. 5 defensive backs in the game on 3rd and 11. Aikman again with time going long. Incomplete. Great play by Charles Demery, who is the nickel back. Irvin had the ball in his hands, and Demery, timing it perfectly, pulled him away from the ball.
I just wonder whether they knew Demery was in the game, because I think really what their initial thoughts were to go after Case, who plays that position normally, but this time Demery was there, and they threw it out there anyhow without recognizing who it was. I'm not sure.
Well, now you know who it is, because the crowd is up for Deion Sanders, who is in to return the punt. Mike Saxon will do the kicking. Sanders with a 68-yarder for a touchdown in the opener last week.
You know, the other thing, Steve, is you got to watch Sanders, because he looks at the flight of the ball and then comes back down and then looks back up again, and he has a tendency to take his eye off the ball and fumble twice in that situation last week.
No chance there on a 42-yard punt by Saxon. Still 7-0 at Dallas.
When it comes to protecting your investment, isn't it worth paying for the real thing? Because only Armor All works like Armor All.
I'm Tim Simmons, State Farm agent. One day my policyholders got the back of their family car banged up, but Van and Mary and the boys didn't have to miss any family outings. They reported their claim directly to me. Our claims people were on the job pronto, so that Van and Mary could get their car fixed fast. Now they know why more people think that State Farm is the best buy in car insurance. We keep things moving, so you can keep your family moving.
And like a good neighbor,
State Farm is there.
At 1,184,880 miles, a Mercedes-Benz 180D is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most durable car. Just how far can a Mercedes actually go? Frankly, nobody knows.
The Big Ten power of Michigan State tries to topple Lou Holtz and the defending national champion Irish of Notre Dame next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Deion Sanders last week told the specialty teams that if you ran a kickback, he would either give them a Gucci watch, a bracelet, or money. And they decided they wanted the Gucci watches, so that's exactly what he did. Now, I don't know whether he's giving it to him yet. I think he's looking around the area to see if he can get a good price.
He told me he wanted to go down to Florida. So he can do better than here. No gain on the first carry. It's 1st and 10, Atlanta from the 20. Gene Lang, the ball carrier, stopped by Dean Hamill at defensive tackle, getting the start in his 5th year out of Tulsa.
And Dean Hamill, I think, is going to be a terrific player for the Dallas Cowboys. I saw a lot of him when he played for the Washington Redskins. They liked him very, very much. He's aggressive. He's a kind of a defensive tackle you like. He's very emotional, very intense, and I think he's going to be terrific for this Dallas Cowboy team.
2nd down and 10, still at the Atlanta 20. The Cowboys lead it 7-0. John Settle, good hold. Across the 25 to the 26. A gain of 6, so it'll be 3rd down and 4. Ron Burton made the stop.
We get a shot of it here, and watch the hole develop, and watch the pursuit, and all of a sudden somebody goes through and flying through the air, and he cuts back behind that particular person who didn't fill that gap. I couldn't tell who it was. It looked like it might have been 51. It looked like it might have been Ken Norton.
They give Settle 7 yards on the carry, so it is 3rd down and 3 officially from the 27. Chris Miller rolling from the pressure. Dropped. Stacey Bailey had it in his hands and dropped it. Robert Williams on the coverage for Dallas. It'll be 4th and 3 and the punting unit on.
You know, those kind of balls, it was in his hands, but his hands were not right. His hands were not right to catch the ball. The left hand was in the wrong position, and as a result, the ball came down and fell incomplete. But that's a catchable ball. Those are the kind of balls you got to make. Those are big play catches. He should have made that catch.
Atlanta would have been in good field position and would have had the 1st down. So now Fulhaig on to punt, and Kelvin Martin back to receive, standing near his own 30. Fulhaig hangs it high, and Martin's going to call for the fair catch and takes it at about the 38. 7-0. Dallas leading a 35-yard punt, and we'll be back.
How much insulation do you have in your attic? 3 inches? 6 inches? Well, the Department of Energy recommends R38 for most American homes, which is equivalent to a foot of Owens Corning pink fiberglass. So grab a ruler and measure your attic insulation. Then get rolling. Because 12 inches of pink fiberglass can help you get a foothold on your energy bills.
For a bear of a thirst, I reach for it first. I can drink a lot more, and it settles the score. 4 fingers, number 7, the taste is pure heaven. It's the drink of the moon. It's playing Al's tune. It moves Louie's lips. It shakes Eric's hips. So look out, Pepsi, the move is on. Now we're singing the Diet Coke song.
Diet Coke has the real cola taste you can drink a lot more of because it's just 1 calorie.
Yo, just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
To understand Asia, you have to understand its customs, its mystery, its people. You have to know what makes a good impression and what offends. For over 40 years, we've been learning about Asia. So in addition to our convenient schedules, we can give you something no other U.S. airline can. The knowledge that comes after 40 years of helping people do business in Asia.
We're just about halfway through the first quarter here in Atlanta. Dallas leading 7-0, and I guess it's sort of an axiom in football that you have to run the ball and play good defense in order to be successful. Well, look at Herschel Walker and John Settle, and look at the percentages of offense.
The move is on. Now we're singing the Diet Coke song.
Diet Coke has the real cola taste you can drink a lot more of because it's just 1 calorie.
Yo, just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
To understand Asia, you have to understand its customs, its mystery, its people. You have to know what makes a good impression and what offends. For over 40 years, we've been learning about Asia. So in addition to our convenient schedules, we can give you something no other U.S. airline can. The knowledge that comes after 40 years of helping people do business in Asia.
We're just about halfway through the first quarter here in Atlanta. Dallas leading 7-0, and I guess it's sort of an axiom in football that you have to run the ball and play good defense in order to be successful. Well, look at Herschel Walker and John Settle, and look at the percentages of offense they produced last year for these two teams. This is something that neither team has been able to get going so far this year, and is really a key to their success, letting those guys and making those guys run the football. Here goes Herschel, trying to pick his way, but there are a lot of white shirts there, and Herschel maybe got a yard.
Broderick Sargent, number 39, a fullback, was out in front and really did a good job of blocking, got a pretty good push on the linebacker, but by the time Herschel was able to get there, the pursuit was so severe and no chance whatsoever.
They gave him his forward progress of 3 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 7, and the CBS Sports Wire will be keeping you up to date all afternoon of what else is going on around the National Football League. 41, a penalty flag goes down, and again Herschel can't find anywhere to go. He fumbles the football. Bobby Butler has it. Butler into the end zone, but remember, there is a penalty flag down. If the penalty is not against Atlanta, it would be a 30-yard fumble return for a touchdown. We will see.
They're talking about it now, and it certainly couldn't have been in the grass thing.
Illegal motion foul. Number 86, offense, penalty decline.
It is a touchdown.
Touchdown.
Herschel Walker's fumble picked up by Bobby Butler, who ran it in from 30 yards out. And Paul McFadden will try to tie it up.
Here they're running smashing, trying to run straight ahead. Look at the pursuit. Look at the pursuit. Herschel Walker tries to go back the other way. The ball falls out of there. It's picked up by Bobby Butler. Good pursuit by the Atlanta Falcons.
So here's McFadden. And he does barefoot it right through there to tie the game. Officially a 29-yard return by Butler for the touchdown. So the turnover results in 7 points in a tie game with 6:51 to go in the first quarter. Hank, one of the things that Atlanta learned about their defense last week, even though the Rams scored 31 points in beating them, was that they have the capability to make big plays on defense.
Well, they're a very good team. They really are. They're a well-disciplined team. They're a zone team, and they're very thorough. Last night, for example, at their team meeting, one of the players talked about a what-if situation. What if they do this? What do we do? They didn't feel like they covered it well enough, so they took the defensive team out in the parking lot, went over the responses and responsibilities, and said, if they do this, this is what we do. But it was a great illustration how thorough they were in the parking lot last night at the hotel.
Also an indication that they were concerned. Felt that it was worth spending some extra time on.
You better be concerned when the players start asking you questions about things the day before the game.
Dixon at the goal line. And a good play by Atlanta's Michael Haynes, who was down there with penetration and caused Dixon to have to jump over it. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram with you in Atlanta. The homecoming of Herschel Walker back to Georgia for the first time as a professional. We have 6:42 left to go in the first quarter, and we are tied at 7 as the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons are each looking for their first win of the year.
You know, it's a funny thing about that first game. When you lose your first game, you have all kinds of things go through your mind, and we'll go over that in a few minutes. Here we start this play.
And each team with a very different situation under which they lost their opening game. First and 10 Cowboys. Roderick Sargent and Herschel Walker in the backfield. It's Walker, and again he goes nowhere. Tony Casillas hit him first, and then Andre Bruce finished him off.
Casillas was the key, though. He got penetration, and anytime you get penetration, it's tough to make progress straight ahead on that kind of a play right up the middle. It looked like he took a shoulder, and in the process, it looked like he might have got a bruise in the shoulder area or the arm, but he's coming off the field at this particular time.
Either that or it's an equipment problem.
Well, they might have broke a strap.
Mike Gann, number 76, is into the game, replacing Casillas. Walker gained 2, so it's 2nd and 8 at the 19. Again, Aikman has good protection. Juggling catch by Walker. Joel Williams chasing him and trips him up. Herschel to the Atlanta 29. A 53-yard pass play.
And here again, the pass protection was very good again. Troy Aikman has had plenty of time to throw the ball, step and throw. There you see Herschel on the inside making the catch. And it looked like Joel Williams had a man for man, and that was the problem. And I think any time that you get a linebacker, you've heard it millions of times, you get a linebacker trying to chase Herschel Walker, you got a mismatch, you got a problem.
Joel Williams still runs well, about a 4.6 40, but you're talking world class when you're talking about Herschel.
Then you're talking about lightning with Herschel.
Fake to Herschel, Aikman in trouble. Tim Green, number 99, in his 4th year out of Syracuse.
He comes in on passing situations and has really been an excellent player for the Atlanta Falcons.
It's a loss of 5, so it'll be 2nd down and 15. For that play to really be effective, Herschel's got to be more effective running the football before you can really fake to him effectively.
Yeah, that's right. You can't throw play action passes if you can't run the ball well at all, and they haven't been able to do that so far. With all the people on the line of scrimmage, you got to throw the ball.
They're looking for Herschel again, but he gets through the first wave and powers inside the 25. Stopped by Marcus Cotton, 2nd-year linebacker out of USC. But that's the first significant gain that Herschel has made, a 9-yard run.
Well, there was a good push on that side. Mark Tuinei and Newton on the left side did a good job of creating some running room. And there was a gap there, and, of course, that's all Herschel needs. He hit the gap and made good yardage on the play. I thought at first he was going to lose yardage because there were a lot of folks over there that time, Steve.
But you can see Herschel with only 4 yards net rushing because of the losses. It is 3rd down, 5 yards to go. Charles Dimry, number 22 in the defensive backfield as the nickelback for Atlanta. Out of the shotgun. Again, a fake to Herschel. Aikman with a 1st down. Robert Moore on the tackle. But boy, Troy Aikman is some kind of athlete, huh, Henry?
Yes, he is. And of course, you know, that play was a good play because the Atlanta Falcons were in a 4-man line. They had 7 guys in the back defensive secondary, all spread out all over the place, expecting pass. And of course, he faked the draw, was sold them on the idea they were going to run inside, and he kept it and ran himself and made the necessary yardage for the 1st down. A good call and great execution on the part of the Cowboys.
1st and 10 at the Atlanta 17. 7-7 tie in the first quarter. Roderick Sargent. A block from Herschel. And Sargent inside the 15. Joel Williams and Ricky Bryan make the tackle.
Herschel that time was leading the play and tried to make a block and had a great effort, but whoever it was, I couldn't tell whether it was Williams or not. Somebody really straightened him up, straight up in the air, and he couldn't get any kind of a push at all on the play.
This is now the 7th play in this drive as the Cowboys started deep in their own territory after the kickoff following the Atlanta touchdown on the fumble recovery by Butler. Irvin in motion. Walker met at the line of scrimmage and thrown back by Jesse Tuggle, but a penalty flag is thrown down. Tuggle and Casillas wrapped him up, but a flag was thrown at about the same time they hit Herschel. And that's the epitome of fame, isn't it, Hank, when you can be known by your first name?
That's right.
All you have to say is Herschel. We're like Martina in tennis.
We'll see a replay here. Hopefully we'll see Casillas.
I don't know what this discussion's about. Joel Williams is the defensive captain, and he and Jerry Markbright, they're talking about whether or not they want to accept the penalty. And you see Marion Campbell say, wait a minute. He's first of all, he said move him back. And if it's a 5-yard penalty, he's saying he doesn't want it because it's going to bring up 3rd down.
Illegal motion, number 88, offense. Penalty decline, 3rd down.
So that was the hang-up. They were trying to find out if they wanted to accept it or not. Here's the play again.
Watch Casillas, number 75, on the nose of the center. He actually didn't come over there and make the play.
No, Jesse Tuggle stood him up.
Yeah, he stood him up, and I thought that we got a better angle on Casillas coming in to help make the play, but he didn't do it at all. Tuggle was the guy that made the play.
So it's 3rd down. And Aikman on the quarterback draw has the 1st down inside the 5. Marcus Cotton on the tackle.
There's a great illustration, Steve, of why you have to have a quarterback who has escapability skill, who has movement by design, because he can make plays on his own. Everybody on the offense is defense except one guy, and that's the quarterback. And if you have a quarterback who can move, just like Troy Aikman did, he's going to move the chains and make big plays, keep the drives alive, and is very important in the way football is being played today with situation substitution.
And this has been a long and impressive drive as the Cowboys have overcome some 3rd down situations to now have a 1st and goal at the 4 in the final minute of the 1st quarter. Walker, touchdown Dallas. The Cowboys regain the lead on a 4-yard run by Herschel.
And it was good blocking at the point of attack. Kevin Gogan. Kerr, they got a good seam in there. We'll see it here. Look at the good push-out block on the outside. And he goes through the arms of a tackler. And that's what he talked about yesterday. He said that, you know, I'm strong enough where I shouldn't permit anybody to tackle me with an arm tackle. There was a great illustration of it. They got a piece of him, but he ran right through the arm tackle.
Roger Ruzek converts the extra point out of Mike Saxon's hold. And it is now 14-7 Dallas as Herschel gets his 1st touchdown. And, of course, his big reception, the biggest play in the drive. The Cowboys, Hank, are such a different team this year than they have been really for their entire history. Lots of things have changed from the owner. Of course, 3 new quarterbacks, 2 of them are rookies. It's 7 coaches as Jimmy Johnson has brought in most of his staff, and that's the norm. 9 new starters, 20 new players, and of course, the most important thing to many people, 23 new cheerleaders.
It's important to the cheerleaders.
So lots of changes for the Cowboys, but you had to expect that with the changing of ownership.
Well, once you do, you make a change. Well, you have to make the change, and a lot of people don't like it at the time when they are involved in it or live with it, but that's what you have to do, and eventually this team is going to come back and bounce back and enjoy the same kind of success they had in the past under the great leadership of Tom Landry and Tex Schramm.
A 9-play, 83-yard drive. To the left of your screen, Keith Jones, and to the right, George Thomas, waiting for Ruzek's kickoff. 56 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter. It's a short one. Jones takes it at the 6. Finds a seam and gets to about the 24. As he goes down, he is blasted. But no flag. Robert Williams on the tackle. An impressive drive for the Dallas Cowboys, and of course Walker, that 54-yard pass reception, and then he culminates it with the TD run.
Well, that's the thing about a great back like Herschel Walker. You know, you might stop him on a play or 2 or 3 or 4, but you have to keep giving him the ball, and all of a sudden when you think you've got him stopped, well, all of a sudden he'll break one for a big play, either with a run or a pass, and get him right into a football game, and that's what he's done so far.
The Cowboys using almost 6 minutes on the clock, something they were unable to do last week against New Orleans. Chris Miller to throw on first down. And he completes it. Michael Haynes sliding out of bounds at the Dallas 40. Chris Miller avoiding the pressure from Jim Jeffcoat.
We'll see a shot of it here from the end zone. Look at all the space in the middle. Play action fake with a crossing pattern. But he gets a little pressure up the middle, but has enough poise and the ability to move up into the pocket and makes the catch.
And it's a 16-yard gain to the Atlanta 40 and their first down of the day. 38 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Dallas by 7. Quick out to Haynes. Complete. And he's hit immediately by Everson Walls. His forward progress will bring it to the Atlanta 46. But the clock is running, and we'll see if they get another play off as we're down to 21.
Marion Campbell last week was very disappointed because he likes for his team to have much better balance than they had a week ago. He came into this game with a hope and expectation of being able to run the ball much better. They haven't been able to run it very well so far.
They have clicked on the last 2 passes, however, and as you see, it looks like time is going to run out here in the first quarter. So 1/4 of the game is gone, and it is 14-7 Dallas leading Atlanta.
Get ready for the CBS Premiere Preview.
We're ready.
With host Angela Lansbury and a special sneak preview of Major Dan. Tonight at 8.
Mike Denton, Gayla Vaughn have come together pledging and honoring their life with each other. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
Hi, I'm Roger Staubach. This is a very special wedding. It's a dream come true that you all are a part of.
The story really started 16 years ago when a little girl named Gayla Vaughn faced critical open heart surgery. I was there as a United Way volunteer, and all of you who gave to United Way made that life-saving operation possible. But that was just the beginning. Over the years, we've seen Gayla grow into a beautiful young lady. We were there when Gayla became queen of her prom, and you're with me here today to see your dream come true.
This story has a happy ending because of you. When you give to United Way, you're making dreams come true, and you're part of that dream.
United Way, it brings out the best in all of us. Thank you.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. Owens Corning, our building products put your house in the pink. And by Armor All Protectant, because we're crazy about cars too.
Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram here in Atlanta, where we start the second quarter with the Cowboys leading 14-7. The Atlanta Falcons have a 2nd down and 4 at their own 46. They have just picked up their first down in this drive, as their touchdown came on a 29-yard fumble recovery return for a touchdown by Bobby Butler. Miller with time, hits the tight end Ron Heller, and Heller has the first down as he dances into Dallas territory. Everson Walls and Ed Jones had some pressure, but Chris Miller got it over him.
Talking to Heller yesterday at our meetings was kind of interesting because he played with the 49ers last year on the Super Bowl team. and made a very strong contribution. He talked about the change here, likes it very, very much, and thinks that he's going to be a more integral part of this offense as the season goes along because of the style of passing that they employ here.
And Chris Miller has shown that he can pass effectively. Marion Campbell calls him just plain winner. Over the middle, incomplete, and that time pressure on Miller for the first time, and the blitz for the first time. Too Tall Jones, Willie Broughton, but there's a penalty flag thrown, and it appeared to have been thrown by the umpire behind the defense, which oftentimes could be holding.
And the blitz was coming from the outside, and they didn't pick him up. That's why he almost got hit before he threw the football, and wisely got rid of it before he did get hit.
Holding number 57, defense, automatic first down.
That'll move the ball 5 yards upfield to the 42 of Dallas. And it's Willie. No, it's 57, Ron Burton. That's right.
We see it on the right side, perhaps. There he is. He's grabbing the tight end, and that's his responsibility, obviously, on a play. He can't let the tight end get a quick release, and he grabbed him in the process.
John Settle looking for a hole and getting a few inside the 40, knocked down by Jim Jeffcoat.
I tell you, the defense of the Dallas Cowboys is responding. They're responding and reacting very, very well. That was a counter trap play, pulling the left guard and the left tackle, and kind of slow developing. But by the time the ball carrier Settle got there, school was out. It was over.
John Settle at 5'9" and 200 pounds. And he, like Herschel Walker, very key to the success of his team's offense. Chris Miller now is 2nd down and 7 at the Dallas 39. Fake draw. Complete to Heller, but short yardage. Not enough for the first down, as a gain of about 3 to the 36 is all. Vince Albritton starting at safety with the stop.
Miller has a good feel for pressure. That time Too Tall Jones was coming in on his right side. He didn't look at him, but he fell him and got rid of the ball just in time. And then, of course, the tackle pushed him beyond the quarterback as Gogan. And as a result, not Gogan, but I'm sorry, the right tackle for the Atlanta team did a good job of blocking on that particular play.
But now it's another 3rd down. 3rd and 3. A reverse to Michael Haynes. Not much room, and Shannon wraps him up. Robert Williams came up quickly, but Randy Shannon, the rookie out of Miami, made the majority of the hit, and it's going to be right at the line of scrimmage.
Here's a reverse play now, and Shannon, number 94, coming from the right side. There's the reverse. And now you'll see Shannon coming from the inside. Good pursuit angle. There he is. And wraps him up along with the cornerback who came up and looked like Williams came up and made the tackle low.
Scott Fulhag will punt it away. The line of scrimmage is the Dallas 35, so we'll see if he wants to punt it out of bounds or just hits it through the end zone. Fair catch called for at the 12. So kind of an unusual punt. 23 yards is all.
Something new is happening at Chevrolet. This year we'll introduce more new ideas, innovative new engines, and bold new shapes than ever before. In 1990, you'll see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. All you have to do is listen.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Every milestone deserves a new look at your insurance and financial needs with your MetLife representative. Get Met. It pays.
You can see the dream of success in the eyes of people all across America.
At Citicorp, we understand the dream. That's why, as Citicorp and Citibank, we've become America's largest financial services organization, already helping 1 in every 5 American families, with more home mortgages, more student loans, more MasterCard and Visa cards than any other company. We'd like you to get to know us better. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
This NFL Game Summary is sponsored by Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Story of the game. Herschel Walker, a big play. Walker fumbled that led to an Atlanta touchdown, but Walker also with a big pass reception and a touchdown to put the Cowboys back on top. We're just underway in the second quarter, 14-7. Dallas leading Atlanta. And we talked, Hank, about how it is imperative, really, for both teams to have a running game going. So far, it really hasn't been the case. And again, it's big plays that have made the difference.
That's always, yeah, that's what's happened so far in this game. But the defenses of both teams have really been super. Really have made it tough for each one of the teams to run the ball.
Dallas 1st and 10 at their own 12. The second time they've had to start inside their own 20. And it's Walker banging straight ahead. Breaking tackle, still running. Vintage Herschel as he's out across the 25 before the safety Bobby Butler brings him down along with Evan Cooper.
Here he is going through the revolving door right up the middle on the play. A good push on the man on the center. He goes through a would-be tackler. Another would-be tackler. It looked like Brian on the play trying to make a tackle, number 77 from the backside. He doesn't, and goes through there for the first down. A great run, great effort by Herschel Walker. That's just good running.
Herschel again banging in the backfield, but stopped behind the line. That time Bobby Butler said, I'd rather make the tackle at this side of the line of scrimmage than 11 or 12 yards the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Now he's looking at his helmet to make sure it wasn't broken on the play.
I'll tell you what,
something happened.
You bang bodies with Herschel, you're probably not going to win.
And Dallas on 1st and 10 have had the opportunity to run the use plays on 1st and 10 times. They've run the ball 8 times and passed only twice on 1st and 10.
Now it's 2nd down and 11 as Walker lost 1. Aikman again with good protection and swings it out to Johnston. Darrell Johnston, a rookie out of Syracuse, tripped up by Scott Case as a swing pass will net about 5, and it'll be 3rd down.
That's a touch pattern, Steve. You know you have to throw it out in front of the receiver Johnston. In that particular case, he got it out there in front beautifully. If he get it out in front, he makes the catch and continue to run. If he could throw a little bit behind him, of course, then it impedes his progress, and he has a hard time getting back on course again and making the yardage that he should.
Dallas with a 3rd and 7 after the gain of 4. They had converted 3 of 4 3rd down conversion. And Aikman will operate from the shotgun. The crowd is not loud enough for him to use his silent count. Blitz is on. Incomplete. Robert Moore almost had an interception, and Elbert Shelley was coming hard with a safety blitz.
Here we see it again. Back in the shotgun. Watch the pressure coming here from the outside left, but he had the presence to throw the ball, but in the process almost had an interception. Almost had it intercepted.
And prime time is out, inciting the crowd, as he likes to do. He did it at Florida State, where he had a great collegiate career.
Now watch his eyes. Watch what he'll do. He'll look up at the ball as the ball is coming down. Then he'll take a quick look at the people chasing him down the field. Then he'll go back up for the ball, and sometimes he'll miss.
Fair catch at the last second. What a punt by Mike Saxon. A 52-yard punt that hung up there so long, Sanders had no chance to return it and called for the fair catch at the last second.
Nature's light, giving life to sparkling streams, as only nature can, helps create the clean, fresh taste that makes Bud Light
the one light that outshines them all.
You can't miss it. It's the new look of Chevrolet. This year, you'll see more new shapes and more new ideas than ever before. You'll see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. In 1990, we'll let our style do the talking.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines has one of the best on-time records in the country.
Mr. Smith, you're early.
Just something to remember. Southwest Airlines.
Nature's light, nourishing golden fields of barley, as only nature can, ensures the clean, fresh taste that makes Bud Light the one light that outshines them all.
Tonight, a major sneak preview. There'll be major laughs and major fun.
Nice kids. You ever whack them?
Major Dad after 60 Minutes tonight.
Here's a great shot of Sanders. Now watch what he does. He's looking up at the ball. Then he looks back down. Then he looks back up. And in the process, almost loses sight of the ball. Catches it way lower than he should have. And that's why he's had trouble catching punch.
He wanted to wait till the last possible second before calling for the fair catch. He did. And Barry held on. Miller on first down. And completing it, Michael Haynes, who has been his favorite receiver today, covered by Robert Williams, but a big gain and a first down on first down, a 17-yard gain.
Haynes made a good selling job of acting like he was going to go deep. Williams took the bait when he cut in front of him, and the ball was right on the money for a big play and a nice catch.
Miller coming up out of the huddle to check with the sidelines. The Atlanta quarterbacks signal in the plays to Miller. First and 10. Atlanta at their own 38. John Settle. And Settle runs hard, getting it out near the 45 before he's shoved back. Eugene Lockhart, the middle linebacker, and Gary Cobb, in his 11th year in the NFL out of USC, make the stop.
Mike Kinn, the left tackle, number 78, and also Robeson pulling on the play. The left guard, the left tackle, watch him pull to the right. Herschel Walker supposed to go inside. There was no place to run. Settled. Supposed to go inside, jumps to the outside, and makes yardage on the play.
He gains 6. It'll be second down and 4. Settle again. Has the first down as he gets it to midfield. Gary Cobb again making the stop for Dallas. And the CBS Sports Wire continues to bring you up to date as somewhat of a surprise Washington all over Philadelphia this afternoon.
Well, they're very capable. They're a good football team, even though they lost to the Giants. And the Giants are a very good football team, too. That was...
Well, that Eastern Division, boy, be tough. First and 10, right at the 50. Atlanta moving the football. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Settle again. Nowhere to go. Ken Norton with penetration to make the tackle in the backfield. A loss of about 1 on the play unless they give him some forward progress.
Again, the linebackers of the Dallas Cowboys are playing much, much better than they did a week ago. They're responding and reacting and pursuing much, much better and making quicker decisions.
Settle has carried 7 times for 29 yards. No gain on that play, so it's second and 10, still at midfield. 3 wide receivers in the game for Atlanta. Miller with good protection, completes it underneath to Sean Collins. First down. Down to the 30 of Dallas. Everson Walls and Vince Albritton make the tackle in the secondary. It's a gain of 20.
we see him on the left side. Sean Collins, number 85. He's in the slot. He comes across the middle area. And he's wide open. They get the ball to him in good shape. And he runs well once he makes the catch. Even though he got hit about 5 yards earlier, he really stretched it to a 5 more yards on the play.
And Chris Miller has now hit 6 of his last 7 passes. As the Falcons are driving, 1st and 10. The Dallas 30. Settled. Jones misses him. Jim Jeffcoat, however, gets him from behind. We're in Atlanta. 14-7. Dallas leading the Falcons. 6 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And Atlanta is finally getting their ground game going, Hank, and that's key for them, and that's what has kept this drive going.
Yeah, you have to have the kind of balance. And even talking to Troy Aikman yesterday, asked about the balance, and also Chris Miller. They said they like to be able to run the ball twice as much as they throw the ball, which is the kind of a ratio you like to have and usually have if you're doing a good job offensively.
Second down and 8. Miller firing over the middle, complete to Gene Lang. Lang is hammered but holds on. He was sandwiched between Eugene Lockhart and Ron Burton. He'll be a couple of yards short of the first down.
Both of these teams defensively are primarily zone defenses because, and by that I mean, of course, you've heard it many, many times, but they're covering areas instead of people. And so they're piercing the areas between the linebackers and the defensive backs. And there was a great illustration on the last play. And pass protection was good again.
Second down, or rather third down and 2. 3rd and 2 at the 22 of Dallas. Pitch to Settle. Good blocking, has the first down. Run out of bounds by Lockhart and Robert Williams.
The success of the play was based on the fact that the left tackle, Mike Ken, got a good hook block on the right tackle, or right end. Jim Jeffcoat knocked him down, and as a result, they got around the corner and made yardage on the play.
One of the toughest things to do in the NFL is to block that corner. You saw the big, broad back of Houston Hoover. There was a lot of conjecture as to whether he would start at tackle with the banged-up Atlanta offensive line. He has a bad knee, but he's in there next to Bill Fraley. Miller to throw under pressure. Ken Norton has him. Sean Smith in his 3rd year out of Grambling in there with Ken Norton.
Norton coming in on the left side of your screen. Number 51. There you see him from the backside. Does a good job. Makes the tackle. But a blitz call by the Cowboys. And normally, even though they blitz, Steve, more than one person, they still like to play a lot of zone, which is very unusual. Talking about the Cowboys, they like to play zone coverage.
Usually when you blitz, you go man-to-man in the secondary. Part of the reason is because you've given up 1 or 2 of your coverage guys.
That's right.
And it's tougher to play a zone.
But even at that, they still like on occasion to play the zone.
It is second down and 17 now. And a timeout is called by Atlanta. 4:49 to go in the first half. Dallas by 7.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Rough day. Sure glad that's over with.
After a day like this, you head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Bush.
Rough day. Rough day. Your horse did all the work. Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Listen to the heartbeat. the heartbeat of America.
For today's work, today's world, Chevrolet will introduce more new trucks in 1990 than anyone else anywhere. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. Today's truck is Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America. Today's truck is Chevrolet.
60 Minutes, everybody's favorite, returns tonight with 3 brand new stories to start its 22nd season. Same time, same place.
The Atlanta Falcons, being urged on, have this far to go to the goal line, 17 yards. It is actually it's 24 yards to the goal line. It's second down and 17 yards to go for the first down, following the sack of Miller. On a draw to settle, very little. Down to the 21. Sean Smith and Willie Broughton on the tackle.
And people want to ask, why would they run a draw play in that situation? Simply because they got a 4-man front. Everybody else is back expecting pass. They thought maybe they could break one up the middle for a big gain and get some of that yardage back. They didn't succeed in getting very much, but to slow down the rush.
So now, after the gain of 4, it is 3rd and 13. Just outside the 20. 4:10 left to go in the second quarter. It is Dallas 14, Atlanta 7. Miller not going to the shotgun. Good protection. Complete to Sean Collins, but not enough for the first down. And Bill Fralick really upset, coming in there and giving a shot to Ray Horton, as I think he felt that Horton put a late hit on Collins. Fralick was going to make him pay.
Well, he's a tough guy, loves to play, and asking him about his responsibilities. I don't worry about anybody else or any other thing. I just worry about doing my job. And you back up a little bit when he talks to you because you're afraid he's going to hit you.
Big guy. He just got into camp a few days before last week's opener. So Paul McFadden is on with his bare foot to attempt the field goal. It'll be a 28-yard attempt. Chris Miller the holder, and it is good. 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the second quarter, and now it is Dallas 14, Atlanta 10. That was the first time really today, Hank, that Atlanta has been able to put together a consistent drive, and I guess the main reason they're able to do it is because they've got the running game going a little bit.
Yeah, they got that going, and ironically enough, you know, going into the game, you had the feeling, talking to the coaches. I talked to Jim Hannafin, who worked for the offensive line. He felt sure they could run the ball, but that's probably because of the way the Rams ran it last week, and because they ran it last week doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to run it real well the next week, because they worked very hard on stopping the run.
Yeah, and they weren't doing it well, so they worked extra on it. Well, be sure to join us next Saturday here on CBS as we bring you college football action. The Michigan State Spartans and the #1 ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame that, of course, beat Michigan in a big game yesterday. That'll be at 2:30 Eastern Time right here. It was Notre Dame over Michigan 24-19. Yesterday, Michigan State pounded Miami of Ohio 49-0. So Notre Dame and Michigan State next Saturday here on CBS. Scott Ankrum back to receive the punt, comes up, drops it at the 15. Now has it at the 15 and is covered. Ankrum, a rookie out of TCU who saw some playing time at wide receiver last week against New Orleans.
But the smart thing was that even though, you see, he was looking downfield the same way, took his eye off the ball slipped through. And he was smart enough to just pounce on the ball. He tried to get as much out of the play as he can or could. But basically, in that situation, you're much better off just following the ball, make sure that you're satisfied. At least you got the ball. If you mess around with it, kick it around, you wind up with the other team getting the ball and getting points on the play.
Better you have it at the 15 than they have it at the 15.
Right.
1st and 10 Cowboys. Again, they start deep in their own territory. Herschel getting outside. Run out of bounds on the far side by Evan Cooper, the strong safety. Evan sort of grabbed onto the shoulder pads and went for a brief ride. But Herschel with good first down yardage. Of course, here's Evan Cooper, who weighs what, 35 pounds less than Herschel.
But he's tough. He hits people. You know, the interesting thing about Herschel Walker, people were talking about maybe his changing his running style. It's kind of ridiculous because you don't change the running style of runners. You know, he's been a great runner. Why would he want to change his running style?
Plus, it's natural and instinctive. You can't really teach it. We were talking to Herschel yesterday, and he said you can't teach it. You just have to do it. Second down and 1. Herschel again getting outside as the first down and then some, and a flag is thrown at the time the tackle is made. Bobby Butler finally getting Herschel. So we'll see. It is holding against Dallas. So the first down is wiped out.
Casillas that time really got a good push on Haggerty, the center.
Holding number 88. Offense. Second down.
That's Michael Irvin at wide receiver, guilty of the hold. So the penalty will move the ball back inside the 15 to the 14. It'll now be second down and 11. It was second down and 9, or second down and 1, and Herschel had picked up 6 or 7.
You're going to be careful in this area because right before the half, a lot of times you try to make a big play with bad field position. You wind up making a bad play for your team, and the other team gets the ball and goes the other way for a score and gets good field position.
Aikman has it tipped and almost picked off by Andre Bruce. Bruce is lying prone, suffering a mock heart attack, as he not only would have had the ball, but probably would have been able to walk in for 6 points.
I don't think there would have been any question about that. This is one of the few times that he's moved the pocket. He's sprinting to his left. Look at the flow of the defense. Look at Andre Bruce right there, it looked like that Troy threw the ball way inside instead of throwing it outside where the receiver was. And I think Andre was so surprised the ball came to him that he just dropped it.
Hit him in a bad place, right in the hands.
Maybe he needs gloves.
Now it's third down and 11. Still at the 14. 3 wide receivers for Dallas. Lots of time for Aikman. And a completed pass. Kevin Scott. That's Kevin Scott with good effort. Gets the first down outside the 25. And it is Deion Sanders who comes up to make the tackle, as Deion was brought in on that series as an extra defensive back for the first time today.
They call that their Falcon defense with 8 defensive back and a 3-man rush. Look at all the time he has to throw. That's the thing about a 3-man rush. He had all the time in the world to throw the ball, but he had good presence, makes a good move back to the inside. He knows exactly where he has to go for the first down and makes the necessary yardage, and they have first and 10.
First and 10 from the 26, and now the 2-minute warning. They can't get the play off in time. 2 minutes to go in the half. 14-10 Dallas.
This isn't an ad for a car company. This is an ad for Zenith's 35-inch digital television with premium stereo and the incredible experience of Dolby surround sound. When you have a Zenith television like this, you want to hurry home. Zenith. Quality.
I wanted to live in the Rocky Mountain region. 12 or 13 of us have played together now for 8 to 10 years. We just have a good time.
Keep it down.
What Tom does is he doesn't care if we make mistakes. He doesn't get down on anybody.
A lot of these players depend on Tom Dater for their life insurance.
It's all teamwork. It's, no individual players.
He's been on their team for 10 years and with New York Life for 18 years.
Why would I buy insurance from a stranger when I can buy it from the worst fullback in Boise?
New York Life, the company you keep.
Most men won't even discuss it with their wives, but when they start losing their hair, they talk about it with me. I say, don't waste your time with those miracle formulas. The Food and Drug Administration says there's no proof that they grow hair. The thing to do is to see a doctor. Doctors have the only treatment programs that are proven to work. Men listen because they know I'm making sense. After all, I'm a doctor.
Only your doctor has treatment programs that work. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
2 minutes to go in the first half. Dallas leading Atlanta 14-10. The Cowboys have the ball in their own territory. And a reminder, stay with us, because after this game, it'll be doubleheader action. Most of you will see the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. The big Central Division head knocking right here on CBS. A sellout crowd in Atlanta as they have come to see Herschel come home. And of course, there are a lot of Cowboy fans here. And every hotel downtown is full of Cowboy fans as they made the trip as well. So not all of the 50,000 or so are rooting for the Falcons. First and 10. Dallas at their own 26. 2 minutes to go in the half, and Aikman firing and completing to Irvin, who slips and is covered immediately by Andre Bruce. But he may have enough for the first down out around the 36. Deion Sanders now comes back into the game. Nope, now he's coming out. Sanders ran out on the field as an extra DB, and now because it is first down, I guess they pull him back off. Aikman avoiding pressure again. Firing and completing it. Yes, it is complete. An 18-yard gain.
And they had a rush on that left side, the passer's right side, and he stepped up on the inside, got outside, and threw the ball downfield with a lot of poise. I tell you, he's terrific. He really is.
Steve Folsom, the tight end, covered by John Rady, the linebacker. But an 18-yard play and a first down. Clock stops with 1:27 left to go in the half. And the Cowboys now in Atlanta territory, the Falcon 44. And Deion Sanders is in the game at defensive back, playing a deep safety.
And that's the thing we called mentioned a little while ago. That's what they call their South Falcon defense.
Aikman a lot of time, and he completes it. Kelvin Martin. And Sanders on the tackle at the 26, along with Robert Moore. It's another first down, a 19-yard gain. Timeout on the field with 1:15 left to go in the first half.
I'm telling you, she sold my house just like that. Dorothy Thompson, Century 21.
They listened to me, so they knew what I wanted.
Century 21? Yeah, my broker sold my house, and I wasn't even in town.
The Century 21 system sells more homes than anybody else because we have more experience than anybody else. But don't take our word for it. Ask a friend.
Come with us. She found us a house with the pool and everything. I'm going to live here forever. Century 21.
Deion Sanders hasn't had many opportunities to play defense yet because he, of course, just got into camp a couple of days before the game last week.
Well, if they can stay in that defense, he's going to have a lot of chances to play defense because they're moving the ball very well against that Falcon defense. There he is, coming up to help make the tackle.
Sanders out of the game now on 1st and 10 at the 25 of Atlanta. Aikman has hit his last 4 passes in a row. He is 8 of 13 for 191 yards so far. And he has all day to throw, and he completes it again. It's Kevin Scott out of the backfield. Scott knocked down by Tim Gordon, the free safety, and Robert Moore. It is short of first down yardage, just outside the 20. So the clock continues to run, and the Cowboys will go without a huddle.
And the Falcons are still in that 3-man rush. And
bad snap, but Aikman got it. Under pressure, he throws it away, incomplete.
He caught that like he had a baseball glove on.
Andre Bruce was all over him, and Aikman was fortunate, first of all, to get the ball, and secondly, to be able to get rid of it.
Bruce loves to rush the passer. He wonders why he ever has to cover. He just wants to rush the passer.
Well, that's all he did at Auburn in college.
Yeah.
You see Steve Walsh, the backup rookie quarterback, signaling in the plays. David Shula, who stands next to Jimmy Johnson, has the headset to the offensive coaches upstairs. Shula right there, the offensive coordinator. Son, of course, of Don Shula of Miami. Spent 7 years with his father in Miami before coming here with Jimmy Johnson to the Cowboys. Now timeout is called by Dallas as they came to the line of scrimmage. 46 seconds remaining. Dallas should have one more timeout remaining as they lead 14-10 And they will have a 3rd down and 5 on the Atlanta 20. The Atlanta defense, Hank, has been on that field a long time. Dallas has put together now 3 long time consuming drives.
You have to give Dallas so far in this game, you know, in the first half, the way they've played. They played extremely well, very alert, aggressive, and have made some things happen. On the other hand, the Falcons have played well defensively, but they really haven't generated as much offense as they thought they would coming into this game.
Chris Miller has done very well. And Settle has been able to carry a few times for positive yardage. Philadelphia coming back with a touchdown against Washington. As throughout the day, the CBS Sports Wire will update you continuously on other games in progress. There's a surprise. Miami all over New England.
Look at New Orleans 24-7 over Green Bay.
Draw play to Walker. Spinning. First down. Touchdown. Robert Moore, number 34, jumped on Herschel and went for a ride into the end zone. Walker with a 20-yard touchdown with 39 seconds to go in the first half.
Great athletic skill and ability, great running talent on the play. He spun right out of a would-be tackle at that time and went right into the end zone for the touchdown. What a great run by Herschel Walker.
So much for changing one's running style, eh, Coach?
That's right. You go back to what you do best.
Roger Ruzick on to attempt the extra point. And it is good. The Cowboys now lead 21-10. 39 seconds to go, and let's look again at Herschel Walker doing what he does so well.
You have a slot to the right side. The ball comes to Troy Aikman. It was a trap play. Now look at a missed tackle right at the hole. He goes through another tackler and takes him right into the end zone. Moore, number 34, takes him right in, piggyback, right in for the touchdown.
Well, the Falcons are having a problem tackling. Of course, Herschel's not easy to tackle. Last week against New Orleans, the Cowboys had 24 missed tackles. So they are getting a little payback so far in this game by making the Falcons miss.
There's Mike Gann telling the coach why he missed the tackle.
That was a great call, Hank. Down there, 3rd and 5 on the 20-yard line. And a deep defense for Atlanta to give Herschel on the draw.
Well, you know, anytime you run a draw play, you hope that they're going to be coming across very aggressively. That's a good time to run a draw or a trap, and that's what it was. And he popped through there, right in there with great running along with it and good blocking, and makes the touchdown on the play.
Keith Jones and George Thomas are back to receive for the Falcons. Ruzick, in his 3rd year out of Weber State, will do the kicking. And Thomas, no, not Thomas. Jones over the 25 to the 27 or 28. Well, coming up at halftime, Brent Nerve will be along with all the scores on the NFL Today at halftime. They'll have highlights, of course, and all the latest information from around the league. Also, we'll have the story of the Windy City quarterback with a large pair of sunglasses to fill. Mike Tomczak in Chicago taking over for the departed Jim McMahon. Large sunglasses and a large headband. I think the headband is probably larger than the sunglasses.
And what's more important, the big lunch bucket, because that's what he is. He's a lunch bucket quarterback, just like the Bears are a lunch bucket team.
That's right. Blue collar.
Yeah, that's right. And he's the kind of a quarterback that I think will do a great job for the Bears.
Chris Miller on first down, dumps it off over the middle to Settle. Settle bulldogged and finally thrown out of bounds by Everson Walls, who couldn't bring him down. 26 seconds remaining in the half. And here's the signal coming in from Millen. Hugh Millen, in his 2nd year out of Washington. One of the reasons Hugh Millen does it is he's 6'5" and easy to see. The other reason is because Marion Campbell told us that Miller and Millen work out the signals along with Scott Campbell among themselves. The coaches don't even know what the signals are.
Yeah, it's a mystery signal. The coaching staff really don't know what it is at all. They don't care as long as they get in there.
That's right. Miller over the middle and completing it. And how in the world did Sean Collins hold on? Timeout Atlanta. Ray Horton and Vince Albritton hammered him. But the rookie Sean Collins holds on at the Dallas 31.
The thing about Collins they say he's going to catch the ball in traffic. He'll catch the ball coming across the middle. He'll catch the ball with people on him. He's got the defensive back licked a little bit. Just enough, just a step, and the ball looked like Francis, and the ball was right there on the money. A perfectly thrown ball.
Well, Sean Collins may have held on, but now he's holding on to his breath. I think he might have gotten the wind knocked out of him as he's was being talked to. He looks to be all right. He was sandwiched. Well, what a throw and what a catch. Chris Miller has shown, Hank, that he can really put that ball right there. I mean, he has tremendous accuracy.
He's got great poise. He reminded me. I told him yesterday. I thought he.
The move is on. Now we're singing the Diet Coke song.
Diet Coke has the real cola taste you can drink a lot more of because it's just 1 calorie.
Yo, just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
To understand Asia.
But now he's holding on to his breath. I think he might have gotten the wind knocked out of him as he's was being talked to. He looks to be all right. He was sandwiched. Well, what a throw and what a catch. Chris Miller has shown, Hank, that he can really put that ball right there. I mean, he has tremendous accuracy.
He's got great poise. He reminded me. I told him yesterday. I thought he reminds me an awful lot of Bob Greasy. Even wears the same number.
Well, that number 12 has been a pretty popular quarterback number. There are a few of those in the Hall of Fame, including Terry Bradshaw.
Joe Namath.
Joe, of course. This one underthrown at the 15-yard line. Incomplete, intended for Michael Haynes. 11 seconds remaining in the half. Robert Williams with the coverage. Miller today so far 10 of 13 for 125 yards. So he's had a good first half in spite of the fact that the Cowboys lead 21-10 with 11 seconds to go in the second quarter. Sold out Fulton County Stadium for the first time in 2 years. Second down and 10 from the Dallas 31. Under pressure. Almost intercepted by Everson Walls. The pass was intended for number 82 Stacy Bailey. And Tony Tolbert, number 62, a rookie out of Texas El Paso, almost got to Miller that time. There are 6 seconds left in the half.
Everson Walls does not have great speed. He probably runs a 4.6, 4.7. The great anticipation, great awareness, reads the quarterback extremely well. There was a great illustration of it. He almost came up with the interception.
Paul McFadden will attempt a 48-yard field goal. Chris Miller is the holder with 6 seconds left to go in the half. Did it get in there? No, it missed wide to the left. 1 second remaining on the clock as McFadden misses the 48-yard attempt. And there's time for one more play. Cowboys will take over on downs at their own 31. The Swamp Fox, second stint as the coach here in Atlanta, and his 3rd year this time around. Of course, he's been in the NFL 28 years, and Jimmy Johnson's been in the NFL 2 games.
Jimmy Johnson, I enjoyed talking to him before the game on the field. He's very, very enthusiastic. He thought his team would play much, much better than they did a week ago. And so far, that's exactly what has happened.
Barring a penalty, the final play of the first half. Aikman. And air it out. Tip drill. Who got it? Complete.
Everything else is just a light. Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. And by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
You're going to like it here. You got a great team behind you.
You sure can't complain about the money. You putting that bonus to work? I don't know.
Call my Prue Base broker.
Rock solid.
Just like this club. At Prudential Bates, rock solid means an all-star team behind you, armed with the strength and resources to win.
You think you can win 20 in the majors?
Maybe. And maybe 21.
Nice change-up.
Prudential Bates Securities, rock solid, market-wise.
Performance. For some people, it's more than a passion. It's a way of life. Well, for all those people for whom good enough just isn't good enough, there's Speed Stick Antiperspirant. Nothing is wider. Nothing glides on drier. Nothing gives you all-day protection in a bigger way. All-day performance that's hard to beat. If you're going to give 110%, your antiperspirant should give 110% too. Speed Stick, the white stick.
By minute.
Get ready for CBS Premiere Sunday.
We're ready.
First, it's the season premiere of 60 Minutes. Then, Angela Lansbury hosts the celebrity-filled CBS Premiere Preview. Get an inside look at the new season, plus a full-length sneak preview of Major Dad. Then, it's Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah in the network premiere of Roxanne. It's all new, all night on CBS Premiere Sunday tonight. TV Guide has made its choice. Their favorite this year is the famous Teddy Z. Oh. Everyone's talking about John Cryer as the famous Teddy Z. Premieres Monday on CBS.
Carries already in the first half, more than all last week. Herschel had it right.
The defense has to stop the offense, give them a chance to score, that's all.
Now, Irv, we want to know what's gone wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll bring him in for an in-depth look. He promised that the Eagles would shock the Redskins today. It is 30-4.
Opportunity for the Redskins, and Buddy Ryan is wondering what happened. Well, here's what happened. Rip it. Still throwing the ball. This time he hits Ernest Biner for a 12-yard touchdown pass, and the Redskins seem to have things well under control. 30-14 right now.
Seems to. Okay.
Not a half yet.
Dallas Cowboys have got things under control. It is 21-10, and Herschel Walker, he's been scoring for both teams today. He's been that busy out on the field. Here is the first touchdown pass of his career for Troy Aikman, and it goes to a former Hurricane wide receiver who was a sensation last year as a rookie, Michael Irvin, 65 yards for the touchdown. And that's when Herschel Walker took over. First he fumbled. Actually, Aikman should have been able to pounce on this ball. He can't get control of it. Squirts free. That allows Bobby Butler to scoop it up and dash in for the Falcons' only touchdown of the first half. He's about to show you Herschel who. Here is his first touchdown. Bangs in from 5 yards out. And Irv, what a beautiful move he makes on this touchdown run.
The thing that's deceptive about Herschel Walker, he's a big back, but has sprinter speed. Look how low he is, keeping his balance, driving people in the end zone with him. It's a great football player.
21-10. All right, renegotiate that contract. Jets and Cleveland, and the Browns have scored another defensive touchdown. That's 4 for the season on an interception of Ken O'Brien. The Jets were up by 7. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, this is going to be a long year for the Steelers. 20-3. Bengals are all over them. Raiders in Kansas City. Raiders usually have trouble in Kansas City on artificial turf. 17-16 Chiefs for the lead there. Miami, New England, the storyline, Dan Marino, 3 touchdown passes. Now he's thrown for 200 in just 89 games, the quickest quarterback to reach that figure. New Orleans and Green Bay, and it's been rather easy for the Saints, 24-7, despite the fact that Bobby Hebert went down early with an injury, but after that, he took command.
Came right back. Brenny was stunned a little bit, but he came right back and threw this pass to number 87, Lonzo Hill, along the far sideline for a 32-yard touchdown. Then they took the ball, drove it down inside the 5-yard line, here actually on the 2-yard line. He goes to Hobie Brenner, hits him for a 1-yard score, and the Saints do have this game under control.
Yeah, you know, Hebert and Mike Tomczak of the Bears probably have a lot in common. We come back, Irv, I want you to take a look at Tomczak, who's getting ready for the Minnesota Vikings, and we'll do that right after these messages from your local stations.
Get ready to win, because 6 million prizes are up for grabs.
Like TVs and VCRs.
Family dream vacations to Hollywood.
$5,000 in cash.
And 1990 Plymouth Voyagers. Find your Kmart newspaper circular, then watch CBS to win instantly. The CBS Kmart Get Ready giveaway starts tonight. We're ready!
Tonight, a major sneak preview. There'll be major laughs and major fun.
Nice kids. You ever whack them?
Major Dad after 60 Minutes tonight.
This is CBS.
There are a lot of gasoline credit cards, and a lot of them are the same. But this one is different. The difference is you don't pay more than the cash price. The difference is you get the best-selling gasolines in America. The difference is the people behind the card. Shell. Experience the difference.
Make the move to your Lincoln Mercury dealer's official factory clearance with 2.9 annual percentage rate financing or up to $1,500 cash back on Cougar LS or Mercury Tracer, $1,000 cash back on Mercury Sable and Topaz, or get $1,000 cash back only on Mercury Grand Marquis. The official factory clearance. Make your move today. This is another reason why 400,000 GM owners have switched to Mercury.
At Steak and Ale, we live by this promise. Your steak will be this tender and juicy every time. This is the great steak, no mistake promise. And that's what makes Steak and Ale a legend in steak. Steak and Ale announces news of prime importance. Our prime rib special for just $8.95. Our famous prime rib, baked potato, and salad bar, just $8.95. Every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday night at Steak and Ale.
Cynthia Good, weekends on Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to our New York studio doubleheader day. And coming up next, some of you are going to see Detroit against the Giants, Phoenix against Seattle, San Francisco and Tampa Bay. But most of you will see the big NFC Central shootout between the Vikings and the Bears. Now, Chicago is led by quarterback Mike Tomczak, who is 16-3 as a starter. And this week, Irv visited with the confident young passer who is no longer the unknown soldier of Soldier Field.
If Mike Tomczak sometimes seemed to be in a fog, that's no surprise. Serving as Jim McMahon's understudy was a tough role to fill. And just when Tomczak got going, injuries slowed him down. But when McMahon was traded to San Diego last month, there was a smooth transition at the helm.
I wished him well. You know, I gave him my phone number and told him to keep in touch during the season. Hopefully, you know, we'll be able to communicate. But, you know, what do you say?
What do you say about Mike Tomczak? He's 26 now, a product of the Chicago area, and a supportive parents. Mike's dad was his football coach in high school.
Did you always want him to be an athlete?
No, but I knew that he probably didn't have a choice growing up in this family with his father being a coach.
We are a close-knit family, and we try to keep it that way and hope it continues. But we're happy and really excited about him starting for his home team. I don't know how many quarterbacks in the NFL are doing it, but he's very fortunate, and we pray and hope he just continues like he is now.
If it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today because they've taught me to continue working hard and keep that strong work ethic.
Whether it's a Pop Warner League quarterback or calling signals in the NFL, Tomczak's work ethic is apparent. Last Sunday, he overcame a shaky start to lead the Bears past the Bengals. In his own quiet way, Tomczak shares the competitive fire of his more charismatic predecessor.
He's got great pride, and that's what makes him work right now. He wants it so bad to achieve. Now, I'm not sure why. I mean, maybe he wants it because of what athletes get out of succeeding, money and fame and glory and all that. But that's okay.
This is the first time I really never had any pressure from, you know, Jim McMahon coming back into his starting role. So I don't have to prove anything to the players nor myself, but I think the fans still have a lot of question marks, and I can't control the fans' decisions.
One group of fans has no doubt about Tomczak. Mike is of Polish descent, and Chicago has the largest Polish community outside of Warsaw. And in this part of the Windy City, fans now have their own favorite son quarterbacking their favorite team.
He's clean cut, he's nice looking, and I like him, I guess. My granddaughters are all crazy about him.
Like some of the other players that, like with steroid stuff going on right now, I mean, you haven't heard anything bad about him yet or anything. And I think he's a real good model for the kids.
My grandfather, he worked in the open hearts and steel mill for 35 years, and the biggest thing he always told me, he goes, remember one thing, you're a Tomczak, and Tomczaks are tough people. You don't let anybody else jump on you, and I don't want people to say there's anything false about me. That's the biggest thing that I try to guard against. You know, what you see is what you get when you talk to Tomczak, and, you know, the image I present is real.
It's amazing what he's accomplished. He's a free agent quarterback, but Irv, what's he up against in the Vikings today?
The best defense in football. You have a tenacious defense, Brent, and I think any quarterback is going to have a headache playing against them.
All right, now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram back with you in Atlanta, where the Cowboys lead 21-10, and we are at halftime. Turnovers played a part early in the ball game, but for the most part, Cowboys have put together some pretty impressive drives, Hank. But the first score for Atlanta came on a Herschel Walker fumble. It was from the 29-yard line. And Walker, who went on to score 2 touchdowns for the Cowboys, gave one here to the Falcons.
Yes, Casillas came through there, got penetration, scraped the ball loose, and then Bobby Butler, number 23, picked it up and ran it in for the touchdown and gave the Atlanta Falcons 7 points.
Officially a 29-yard return, the tackle being made in the end zone by his teammate Andre Bruce. So that was a first Atlanta touchdown. Then Herschel Walker with a 20-yard run later in the second quarter for his second touchdown, and what a run this was.
It was, and a great block by their left guard Zimmerman, trapping on the play in the end, but the great run by Herschel Walker made the difference. Took it into the end zone, and they get another 7 points.
Well, you know, Marion Campbell has been a great defensive coach wherever he's gone. He had the fearsome foursome in Los Angeles. He had the Purple People Leaders in Minnesota. He prides himself on being able to stop the run, but Herschel may be another story.
Well, Herschel Walker has made a lot of coordinators look bad. And he's doing that exactly this afternoon. We talked at the beginning of the show, you know, that they wanted to feature him, and I talked to Jimmy Johnson yesterday, as you did, and asked him how many times he'd like to get Herschel involved in a game, and he said, well, we'd like to get on the ball at least 30 times, maybe 22 runs, and the rest passes.
Well, so far, they're right on track, as the Cowboys have scored on drives of 65, 83, and 85 yards to lead 21-10 at halftime. And CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Cars aren't cheap, never have been. That's why I never take shortcuts with cheap oil and air filters. Give me AC filters every time. AC filters match the original specs on my cars like a nut on a bolt.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Now get up to $8.80 back on AC filters and plugs. See your retailer for details.
It's the best territory. First Interstate Bank territory. Because with a First Interstate Bank card, you can get cash anytime, day or night. From Washington, D.C. to New Mexico, Colorado to Nevada. In fact, all across the U.S. with Cirrus ATMs. So get a First Interstate Bank card and cash in on our territory. First Interstate Bank. We go the extra mile for you.
Exotic alloys, complex designs. Today's automobile engines are marvels of power and efficiency. But at a price, they generate more of the damaging filth called sludge. Yesterday's motor oils aren't the answer. Today, what's required is a motor oil specifically formulated to virtually eliminate sludge. Haviland's superior grade.
We're talking hard-hitting football. We're talking hard-hitting savings. It's your Atlanta area GMC truck dealers. 89 closeout. Choose up to $1,000 to $1,250 back or 2.9 financing on S15 pickups and Jimmys. Up to $500 cash back on full-size Sierras or automatic transmission at no extra charge. Plus, register your parent-child team to win a Super Bowl vacation. See Walker, Carrollton, Hennessy, south of South Lake Mall, McGivney, Conyers, Barranco, Decatur, or General GMC Atlanta.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by AT&T, the right choice. United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. And by the good time, great taste of McDonald's.
Before we start the second half with the Cowboys leading Atlanta 21-10, let's check out the halftime stats. The Dallas Cowboys have done a great job so far moving the football, something that obviously they were concerned about after their game with New Orleans, in which they gained only 8 yards rushing. And here, 71 in the first half. It's not tremendous, Hank, but it's certainly a tremendous improvement.
Well, the thing about the thing that always amazes you when you talk to the coaches, they go in with the idea of doing certain things, and they feel they can do certain things. And Atlanta felt very strongly that they could do a good job offensively of moving the football. So far, the defense of the Dallas Cowboys has dominated the offense, and they haven't really done an extremely good job. Look at Chris Miller from a passing standpoint. Has completed 10 of 14.
So Miller's been able to move the ball, and of course a lot of that came late in the first half. Troy Aikman with 195 yards has also done well. He had some incompletions early in the game, but boy, late in the second quarter when it really counted, he went down the field with 4 or 5 completions in a row.
Well, the thing that was surprising was the fact they made a big play early in the game against his own defense. You have to travel slowly playing it against Atlanta because they play so much zone defenses that you have to exercise patience. But in spite of that, they got a big play to Urban.
George Thomas and Keith Jones back deep to receive. Will kick it off. Keith Jones at about the 7. Up near the 30 before he's knocked down. A 23-yard return for Jones, and Miller will go right back to work with Atlanta down by 11 as we start the third quarter. And it's pretty much the same offensive unit that started the game, with Settle and Lang in the backfield. This is Atlanta's best field position to start a drive today. Gene Lang with a good gain on first down out across the 35. So Lang gained maybe 6 or 7. Jim Jeffcoat and Ron Burton on the tackle.
They got a good push that time, Steve. The offensive line did, of the Atlanta Falcons. But overall, why the Dallas Cowboy defense is really responding well to what they see and getting a good penetration.
Gain of 7, second down, and 3 yards to go. John Settle looking for a hole, and maybe a yard is all.
Settle had a great chance to cut back that time. There was a big cavity on the left side inside the defensive end and linebacker, but he didn't see it. And that's what happens when you run from regular formation, Steve. From the I formation, he would have had an opportunity, because he's normally back there about 8 yards deep, to make that cut and get back, take advantage of the pursuing defense. But from a ground formation or a regular formation, you can't do that.
You're looking at Dean Hamill on the sideline. He had x-rays on his left ankle. They proved to be negative, so he's trying to walk it off to see if he can get back in the game. 3rd down and 2, complete. Brad Beckman, the backup tight end, knocked down by Ray Horton in the secondary, but Beckman with plenty of yardage for the first down as he gets it out across the 45.
And that's what happens, if you can't run the ball with any degree of success, the play action passes aren't very effective. That time it was, because they just made a nice gain on a run.
Foge Fazio talking to him. Foge, the special teams coach of Atlanta. His given first name is Serafino.
That's not Italian, is it?
I think so. But they call him Foge.
He's a great guy, isn't he?
He sure is. First down, tipped and incomplete. Eugene Lockhart got his hands on the ball. And then Eugene came up, and Sean Collins didn't see him, and Collins got knocked down, but Eugene was just coming up. He didn't even know Collins was there.
Here you see the move in the inside. Nothing wrong with that. He just got hit. The linebacker looked like Burton.
Yeah, and then Lockhart was just getting up and didn't know that Collins was over him.
Yeah.
And Collins, pretty feisty for a rookie.
He didn't look at the weight chart before the game.
I'll tell you what, though, he can play. He has been impressive. Miller rolling. Doesn't look like he wants to pass, but he's going to lose yardage. Jeffcoat and Norton run him out of bounds on the far side. And he will lose a few.
Really, there's a pretty good block on the left side by Ken and also Roberson, but by the time he got to the left side, where he was trying to get, they responded and got off the blocks and made the play.
3rd down and 12. And this is the 6th play in this drive. The Falcons, there's Mike Ken. The Falcons have only moved the ball 16 yards in those 6 plays, and they face a 3rd down and 12 and their own 46.
Here they come with a blitz.
Miller gets it away, but it's hanging up there, and Collins is tackled. Interference called in the secondary on Ron Francis.
We'll get a good look at it on the replay, but it looked like he definitely was interfering on the play. There you see the ball. Looks like
pass interference. Number 38, defense. Automatic first down.
Collins was trying to come back for the ball, and Francis wasn't going to let him. The safety blitz with Vince Albritton got right in Miller's face, but Miller got it away and made a pretty good throw considering it's a 33-yard penalty.
That's the great thing about man-for-man coverage and getting the ball up in the air, because you never know, even though you don't complete the pass, there's always a chance for pass interference on the play.
And it moves the ball to the Dallas 21. Dallas leading 21-10 here in the 3rd quarter. Gene Lang looking for room and getting a couple of yards to the 19 is all. Everson Walls and Ken Norton combining for the tackle.
There again, the defensive line of the Cowboys got the advantage, got a better push than the offense, and couldn't get much yardage on the play.
Gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. 12:06 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And the Cowboys leading 21-10 over the Falcons. Pitch to settle. Mike Ken tried to make a block, but he was outnumbered over there 4-1. Robert Williams and Tony Tolbert making the play. And that's what you want to do with that outside containment, is string it out. They did a good job that time.
Well, Williams, number 23, the right corner, got good penetration. He forced it outside, and he got help from the inside, and that made all the difference in the world. They got the penetration you need. If you get penetration when you're trying to run sideways, you're out of business. No way you can make it go.
So it is now 3rd down and 10. The ball is back around the 21, the original line of scrimmage. But the Falcons have eaten up some time as they have taken the opening kickoff here in the 3rd quarter. 11-10 left to go in the 3rd. Miller eluding the pressure and incomplete. It was intended for Sean Collins. He had Stacy Bailey behind him, and Ed Too Tall Jones was right in the face of Chris Miller. So it'll be 4th down and 10.
And that's got to hurt the Falcons, because they had a good drive, and then they wind up with no touchdown on the play.
McFadden way behind the offensive unit, and this is something that he does. He goes out there about 20 or 25 yards behind the unit, and then he walks up to the point where he's going to kick, and it makes it psychologically seem to him like it's a shorter attempt. It's a 38-yard attempt, and it is good. McFadden, who missed one from 48 yards, converts from 38 with 11 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Oh, 5 more minutes. It's our anniversary. Let's call in sick.
Can't.
Oh, 10 years deserves something.
True.
Haven't I made you coffee for 10 years?
Haven't I had to drink it? Now, come on.
Why?
Show your friends this. Happy anniversary.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The Diamond Anniversary Band. This year, tell her you'd marry her all over again.
Okay, I'll show him. Tomorrow.
Wouldn't it be great if you were at the series and the manager needed a pinch hitter and remembered you from Little League and it was out of here? And wouldn't it be great if instead of calling, you know who brought beer? Really great beer like Keystone, the fresh, cold-filtered beer in a can that tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined can. And wouldn't it be great if your face was on a cereal box? Introducing Keystone and Keystone Light, bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Dad, can I parachute out of my bedroom window?
No.
Can I grow a mustache?
No.
Can we go shark fishing?
No. No.
Dad, can I have a pet monkey?
No.
Oh, darn. Beekeeping!
No.
Dad,
What?
can we go to McDonald's?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Can I drive?
No.
Oh.
The 38-yard field goal by Paul McFadden, culminating a 9-play, 49-yard drive that took 4 minutes off the clock. And the Cowboys now lead 21-13 over the Falcons. McFadden will do the kicking off with his bare foot. That bare foot's okay this time of the season, but come December, makes it a little tougher.
Yeah, I'm talking to him about that. He doesn't seem to mind it at all, and he gets the ball away very quickly. You know, in 144 kicks, he's only had one block his whole career, which is very, very impressive.
Dixon at the goal line. Scott Case bumped him out of bounds. He got outside the containment, and the Cowboys will have better field position. Well, tonight on CBS, it is Premier Sunday, featuring, of course, 60 Minutes, the season premiere of 60 Minutes. That'll be followed by the CBS Premier Sunday with Angela Lansbury hosting a look at the new comedy Major Dad, and then Roxanne, the hit movie starring Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah. All of that tonight on CBS Premier Sunday, beginning with 60 Minutes right after football here on CBS. A big night. From the 23, first and 10 Dallas, leading 21-13. Herschel back to work. And hammering straight ahead across the 25. Tony Casillas and Rick Bryan on the tackle.
I'm surprised they didn't change the play at the line of scrimmage and go to the left. There was an overshifted defense on the last play, which means they had a lot of folks on that side, and in spite of that, they still run in that area, and as a result, they didn't get much yardage on the play.
Herschel now with 56 yards rushing. Picked up 4, so it'll be second down and 6 at the 27. And the CBS Sports Wire keeping you up to date. Herschel. First down. Powering across the 35. Evan Cooper, the strong safety, and Scott Case at corner make the stop. A 10-yard gain and a first down for Walker and the Cowboys. You know what Herschel's middle name is, Henry? Junior. Junior Walker.
But nobody calls him that.
No.
That's for sure.
He's too big to be a junior.
You know, it's surprising to hear him talk about himself, praising his own ability. He talks about himself as being a power runner, and I think basically people around the country think he's more of a lightning runner, but he is strong. He does everything so well, it's amazing.
This is Broderick Sargent. And Sargent, with a flag down at the line of scrimmage, gets very little yardage before Tim Gordon, the free safety, brings him down. So we'll see what the call is from Jerry Markbright.
Holding number 66, offense, first down.
That's Kevin Gogan, third-year tackle out of the University of Washington, and the penalty will be accepted. So the Cowboys moved back. You know, this guy's 6'7" and 305. He's too big to have to hold.
You would think that would be the case.
It's unfair enough to be 6'7" and 305 and go holding people. Third penalty on the Dallas offensive unit and the 5th penalty overall against the Cowboys. First down, Walker bouncing. Scott Case got him around the ankle and wouldn't let go until he got help from Andre Bruce. And Walker only able to gain a couple.
Here's a replay from the I formation. He loves to run from the I formation. The hole is inside. He looks like he cuts back to the inside. They look really like he could have made more yardage going to the right of the center. And Scott Case finally gets him by the ankle and slows him down enough where he makes the tackle.
Andre Bruce actually got 2 shots at Herschel. Second down, Aikman to throw. Firing and completing to Michael Irvin at the 40. It should be enough. No, it'll be short of the first down. They need to get really to the 47. It's a gain of 11, however.
You know, talking to Aikman yesterday was interesting. We talked about his desire to play professional football, and he said it's always been a dream of his to be able to play professional football, and the thrill of being able to play is the most exciting thing. We kidded him naturally about the money that he's making. He said, well, you know, the money is great, but really I never ever dreamed I would make that kind of money, but I just dreamed about playing professional football, and that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm very, very happy.
He's also playing very well in his first 2 games in the NFL. 3rd down and 7 from the 40. Incomplete. Bobby Butler with the big hit to break up the intended pass to Cornell Burbage. And it'll be 4th down, and the Dallas Cowboys will have to give up the football.
Bobby Butler, the left corner. Look at the back pedal. But by the time the ball is thrown, he gets there right up. You know, the thing that happens there, anytime you throw that ball that high, and there's contact right about the time he's trying to make the catch, you have that kind of a problem. That ball has to be thrown at the numbers, Steve, to be able to maintain possession of the ball on that kind of a play to the inside.
Well, we'll see if Deion Sanders can maintain possession, as he's had a problem holding on to the punts. But boy, when he holds on to him, he can bring him back in a hurry.
Well, he'll continue to have problems if he looks at the ball and then looks at the rushing people.
Taken inside the 20. A couple of moves and across the 20, near the 25. Bill Bates makes the stop. We have 7:07 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
I got a phone call this morning from one of our oldest customers. He fired us. After 20 years, he fired us. Said he didn't know us anymore. I think I know why. We used to do business with a handshake, face to face. Now it's a phone call and a fax. Get back to you later. With another fax, probably. Well, folks, something's got to change. That's why we're going to set out for a little face-to-face chat with every customer we have.
But Ben, that's got to be over 200 cities.
I don't care. Thanks.
If you're the kind of business that still believes personal service deserves a lot more than lip service, welcome to United.
Larry. Lewis.
That's the way we've been doing business for over 60 years.
Ben, where are you going? To visit that old friend who fired us this morning.
United. Come fly the friendly skies.
If you like to be seen in all the right circles, it's the right beer now. If you think there's a certain quality to beer that comes from up here, it's the right beer now. If you believe in letting the good times pour, reach for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down. Coors Light, yeah, it's the right beer now. It's the right beer now.
Taking my rightful seat at this table.
Can a cop penetrate the mob and destroy it from within? Don't miss the season premiere of Wise Guy, starring Ken Wall, Wednesday.
Cowboys leading the Falcons 21-13 here in the 3rd quarter. And Atlanta has the ball back at their own 24, 1st and 10. Chris Miller, 11 of 17 for 135 yards. The Dallas defense had a little better day than they had last week. Lots of time, and the pass tipped, but caught by Gene Lang. It'll be a short gain of 4 or 5. Bill Bates coming up from strong safety to hit him immediately.
It looked like Jeffcoat, number 77, might have gotten a piece of the ball. I couldn't tell for sure, Steve, but that's, I think, what happened on the play.
Looked like it might have been Sean Smith.
Yeah, it was.
Number 67.
Yes, it was. Got his left hand on the ball, I think. Got a tip.
Smith at 6'4" and 280 out of Grambling in his third year. The gain on the play was 4, so it's second down and 6. Haynes in motion. Jeffcoat almost jumped offside, but he got back. And it's complete. Sean Collins with a first down for Atlanta at the 42. Robert Williams with the stop.
I can see why they like Collins. They talked about him while we were here since Friday. He's a terrific player, exciting player. He likes to play, loves to play. He makes things happen.
A gain of 17, and as you see, his 4th reception for 76 yards. He caught 6 last week. First and 10 Atlanta, their own 42. 5:40 to go in the third quarter. Cowboys leading at 21-13. Settle gets almost away from Jones. Too tall was bringing him down when he got help. Good penetration by Ed Jones in his 15th year in the NFL. His career started here in Atlanta in 1974.
You see him coming down, gets the penetration, knocks off the guard, and gets the ball carrier, gets a good piece of him, and he finally trips, talking about John Settle. But too tall Jones was the one who made the play. And again, anytime you get penetration like that, when you're trying to run outside, you're going to be in trouble.
Ed Jones at 6'9". Didn't have a great game last week and appears to be playing better. Miller over the middle, complete to Ron Heller, the tight end. First down, Atlanta at the Cowboy 34. Vince Albritton made the tackle. A 26-yard gain.
Playing his own defense, and there's a big hole in the middle area. Heller hit it. And Miller got the ball to him right on the money. There's not much of a pass rush. Look at all the time he's got to throw the ball. He goes behind the linebacker, Ken Norton, between the defensive backs and a linebacker, and the ball is thrown perfectly right on the money against his own.
And the Cowboys are not getting much of a pass rush, and Miller is taking advantage. He has plenty of time again. Michael Haynes, touchdown! Penalty flag! We'll see what the flag is. A 34-yard reception by Haynes. And it was thrown as Haynes crossed the goal line.
But see, the key there, I don't care who you got playing in your secondary, you got that much time for the quarterback to throw the ball, you're going to be in trouble. He had all the time in the world, no rush whatsoever, nothing close.
Boys, a lot of discussion going on here. The back judge, Doug Toole, made the call, and he and Jerry Markwright, the referee, are having a long conversation.
With the way the rules are and the way the instant replay is, officials want to make sure that what they call is right, so they get together and talk about it. If one's wrong, the other one's right, they'll change it.
We have a holding call on number 24 defense. That penalty is declined. We have a double foul. Double foul. We have number 81 offense. Illegal receiver went out of bounds and came in to touch the pass. He was blocked out of bounds. Illegal contact foul on the defense. Penalties offset. First down.
So the whole thing's wiped out. There were a total of 3 penalties on the play.
See, there he is. He gets to push, and evidently he goes out of bounds. And then he goes right down the field. And it winds up inbounds, of course. You can't do that.
Now you can see Doug Toole reach for his flag right there.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what happened on the play, and you can't do it. The call was correct.
The contact was illegal because it was made outside the 5-yard perimeter, and that's what bumped Haynes out of bounds initially. So that's a penalty.
Yes.
Then Haynes is a penalty because he came back in and touched the ball. Additionally, they had an illegal block downfield. So there were a total of 3 penalties on the play.
Yeah, they had a triple dipper that time, and it winds up being a first and 10.
Back at the 34. So an apparent touchdown. Wiped out. The blitz picked up nicely, but Miller threw behind Heller, who didn't see it. And there's a flag again in the secondary. And it's probably going to be an interference call.
I don't know whether it's right or not. It looks like it might be Ken Norton.
Number 57.
No,
Defense.
57.
Automatic first down.
Ron Burton, the linebacker, holding on the play. He had the coverage.
Burton on the right side of your screen. Watch. Oh, he's got the squeeze on the tight end.
That's why Heller didn't get to the ball.
Yeah, that's right. He had him in a vice. Easy to understand why they make that call.
So that moves the ball now inside the 30 to the Dallas 29, where it's first down. Again, good protection for Miller. Michael Haynes fighting for the first down. He's going to be short, but he's inside the 20. Robert Williams and Randy Shannon bump him out of bounds. Chris Miller's having all day, and he is just sitting back there picking them apart.
Well, that's the key to the whole thing. That's the key because of the pass protection. You know, the quarterback has to be able to get back into the pocket, step and throw and follow through. That's the ideal situation. And we can do that. They're going to find people open, and that's what's happening so far. And Miller's done a good job of throwing the ball on 1st and 10. 6 of the 8 times he's had possession, he's thrown it on 1st and 10.
Plus, he has completed 4 in a row now on this drive. The game is 9. 2nd and 1 at the 19. John Settle has the first down as he gets a couple down to the 17. And the Falcons keep the drive going.
Bill Freilich, that time the right guard, got a good block on Willie Broughton. And gave him just enough room to get in for the short yardage.
CBS Sports Wire updating you as always. We have 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter here in Atlanta. And the Cowboys are leading 21-13. This is the 7th play of this drive. Complete to Heller. Inside the 10. Short of the first down, but another big first down gain as Everson Walls and Vince Albritton stop him there.
You know, with the training he had with the 49ers, the way they throw the ball, it helps invaluably here. That time he's got a good feel for where the linebackers are, the defensive backs, and he gets in that area and settles down, and the ball's right on the money, but he knows exactly what he has to do and where he has to go.
And again, Chris Miller with plenty of time to get it to him. Another 9-yard gain and another 2nd down and 1, this time at the 8-yard line of Dallas. Timing pattern for Haynes. Penalty. He's out of bounds, but a penalty flag is thrown. Robert Williams had the coverage in the corner of the end zone. It did not appear as if he would have come down inbounds, but we'll wait for the call from Jerry Markbright.
There again, if they think that he
pass interference, number 23, defense in the end zone. First down, 1-yard line.
Robert Williams on Michael Haynes, 1st and goal at the 1.
Yeah, he's into him as the ball's coming down. He's right into his body. You see that? Look at here. And knocks him right out of bounds. Definitely pass interference on the part of Williams. No question about that one.
They couldn't call him for face guarding because he only had one hand up. If you have 2 hands up, then they can call you for face guarding. But he made contact while the ball was in the air. And that's the penalty. Now, things aren't straight, so Markbright asked for a timeout.
But even on face guarding, he's got to move his hand. And
right.
Yeah. If he puts his hand up, yeah, if he waves it, that's face guarding. If he puts it up there, it's now face guarding.
And that rule was changed last year, I think.
Yes, that's right.
The other rule was if you had the hand in the face, then even if you didn't wave it, it would be face guarding. Well, I guess we're being reviewed here. And that may be what the holdup is. Our replay official in the booth there is L.T. Bonner. He, of course, was an official for 25 years in college. This is his first year as a replay official. Bill Granholm is the official coordinator. He communicates down to the field. So apparently they're reviewing this play. And now Jerry Markbright says we're ready to go. So an inconclusive play. No report even. First and goal from the 1 for Atlanta. Cowboys lead 21-13. Penalty flag. Kenny Flowers into the end zone, but a penalty marker thrown on the play again. And maybe Atlanta moved too soon. Nope.
The way the fans are reacting, evidently it was the Cowboys. We'll see in a second.
Another conference. We're leading the league in officials' conferences today.
We're breaking a record, or establishing one here today.
There is no foul on the offensive team. 72-3 reported. They were in legal position. There was an offside on the defense. Declined. Touchdown.
And what happened is they bring in 2 tackles to play tight end, and that's what happened on the play. They don't feel their tight ends are strong enough to block like they should as a tight end position, so they put into 2 tackles, and that's what happened. But they have to report. They evidently did report, and that's why they had the discussion.
Kenny Flowers, a first-year player out of Clemson with his first NFL touchdown, and Paul McFadden will try to add one more. He does, and with 2:17 left to go in the third quarter, it is now the Cowboys 21, Atlanta 20.
We recognize how important every 800 caller is to your business. We recognize that. And if for some reason there's a disruption in that service, we know you can't afford to be out of business. We have a new AT&T 800 assurance policy. If you're not getting 800 calls for any reason, if it's an equipment failure, if it's a problem with the network, it doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is getting your calls to you. We guarantee we'll put you back in service to a working telephone line within an hour. That's what the assurance policy does for you.
Too many people think a spark plug's a spark plug. Well, all spark plugs aren't alike. These AC copper core plugs match my car's specs like rounds in a chamber, firing up to 30 times a second for up to 30,000 miles of high revving firepower.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Now get up to $8.80 back on AC filters and plugs. See your retailer for details.
This is a recipe for love. New Cheese Lovers Plus. Blend an abundance of 3 alluring cheeses. Add 2 irresistible toppings, your choice. And what you get is 1 provocative pizza. Get all this love for only $8.99. Or get twice the affection for just $4 more. New Cheese Lovers Plus from Pizza Hut. The name says it all.
Get ready for the CBS Premiere Preview. We're ready. With host Angela Lansbury and a special sneak preview of Major Dan. Tonight at 8.
Chris Miller's been on a hot streak. He hit 10 of his first 12 passes, then 1 of 5, and he's hit his last 5 in a row, bringing the Falcons back to within a point. Dixon lets it go out of bounds, and so the Cowboys will probably start at the 35. 1st and 10 on the kickoff. So Jerry Markbright brings it up, and that is in fact what's going to happen.
Free kick out of bounds. Ball put in play on the 35-yard line by rule. 1st down.
Well, an 8-play, 76-yard drive by Atlanta. 4 minutes and 50 seconds off the clock. Kenny Flowers with his first NFL TD culminating it. And it is now a 1-point ball game. Dallas 21, Atlanta 20. Cowboys 1st and 10 at their own 35. It has been dueling quarterbacks with Aikman and Miller both playing well. And here's Herschel. Again, turning the corner, and again a big gain on first down as he gets about 7.
That time the defense even shifted before the ball was snapped with the anticipation that they were going to run to the defensive left. And in spite of that, with all the folks there, Herschel Walker was still able to squeeze out some extra yardage on the play.
Herschel picking up 7, so it is 2nd down and 3. Now at the 42. Walker certainly a much bigger factor this week than he was last week, and that, of course, is key. Herschel with 76 yards on 16 carries. Not to mention 2 TDs, and he has it again. First down as he dives outside the 45. Tripped up by 41 Tim Gordon, the free safety, and defensive end Mike Gann.
It looked like Chris Miller changed the play at the line of scrimmage that time. Or Troy Aikman, I'm sorry. Both of these young quarterbacks are really outstanding. And talking to the coaches yesterday of Atlanta, why they bragged so much about Troy Aikman. It was unbelievable. And you go to the other side, they're talking the same way about their young quarterback, Chris Miller.
1st and 10 Cowboys from their own 46, and Herschel the workhorse. A yard is all. Andre Bruce and John Rady. I'll tell you what, when you go to take on Herschel high, you better have some help from somebody down low, because he is a load.
Because then you ought to have a saddle, because you throw it on his back. Watch Andre Bruce, number 93, playing off the look at him use his hands, comes off the block and tackles high and gets a piece of Herschel Walker. Good defensive play by Andre Bruce.
Got a little help from Rady down along the ankles. It appears the time is going to run out here at the end of the 3rd quarter before another play gets off. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score: the Dallas Cowboys 21 and the Atlanta Falcons 20.
If you don't want to slow down on your way home,
it's the right beer now.
If you think having fun means jumping in with both feet,
it's the right beer now.
You realize that in some sports, you can't call a timeout. So call for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. Yeah, it's the right beer now.
Nice to have a good friend meet me at the airport. My new Regal. It's a car I can trust. The way GM makes these new ones, reliable, dependable, gives me the peace of mind I need. So take me home, friend.
GM is the only American car maker to offer a bumper-to-bumper warranty for 3 years or 50,000 miles on every model.
We help more Americans go to college, and we issue more MasterCard and Visa cards than any other company. We also serve millions of customers in every major marketplace worldwide. We're Citicorp and Citibank, America's largest financial services company. Whatever financial success you hope to achieve, whether it's business or personal, we can help you do it, and do it better than anyone else. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
It could not be prettier in Atlanta, Georgia than it is today. Beautiful day and a It could not be prettier in Atlanta, Georgia than it is today. Beautiful day and a sellout crowd here in Fulton County Stadium. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram bringing you the NFL on CBS. And as we start the final 15 minutes, the Cowboys down to just a 1-point lead, and they have a 2nd down and 8 at their own 47. Walker jammed up in the middle. Mike Gann would not be moved, and Rick Bryan there also. It's going to be 3rd down. Herschel maybe gained a yard on the play. Hank, so far the game has gone pretty much the way that both coaches would like it to go. I'm sure that they would prefer to not have given up each this many points at this time, but the offenses are certainly doing a better job than they did their first week.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I do think, however, that Atlanta thought it was going to be a different kind of an opportunity for them to move the ball than it's been so far. They really haven't done a good job of moving the ball, especially on the ground.
3rd down and 8, and a whistle stops play as Aikman gets the ball out of the shotgun, and it looked like he was going to try another quarterback draw. But play was stopped upon the snap.
First charge timeout, Atlanta.
Well, that's weird. Atlanta taking a timeout at the snap. So with 14-11 left to go in the game and the Cowboys leading by 1, we'll be right back.
This is CBS.
Exotic alloys, complex designs. Today's automobile engines are marvels of power and efficiency. But at a price, they generate more of the damaging filth called sludge, which can squeeze the life out of your engine. Today, what's required is a motor oil specifically formulated to virtually eliminate sludge. Haviland's superior grade.
There's nothing quite so handy as a teller machine. Put your card in, get your money out. Only thing is, some machines seem to hang on to some of your money. It just disappears in service charges. On the other hand, when you open a trust company bank checking account and keep the minimum balance, we don't charge you to use our teller machines or any other banks. Now, that's convenience. Put your card in, get your money out, and keep the change. Trust company. Does your bank suit you to a T?
One of our earliest hydroelectric plants opened back in 1913. It's still working for a South that's still growing. So when we test new sources of energy, like these solar panels that turn the sun's rays directly into electricity, just remember, at the Southern Company, when we build for the future, we build to last.
The Southern Company, putting electric energy into the future.
News anchor Brenda Wood, only on Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Coors Light. Pure brewed in the Rockies, the Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now. New York Life, the company you keep. And by the new generation of Oldsmobiles. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer.
A big play for the Atlanta defense, but equally big for the Cowboys. 3rd down and 8. So apparently Atlanta calling timeout at the very last second as the snap was about to be made to regroup a little bit. 3rd and 8 from the Dallas 47. Aikman in the shotgun. A yard or two is all. Marcus Cotton chasing him all over the place, and Rick Bryan combined to bring him down.
Cotton really got a great jump on the ball from the outside to the right outside. There we see a picture of him. He's a little disappointed that he didn't get the right angle and get the sack, but he still made it a possibility for them to force him to kick on this play.
So here is prime time. Neon Dion and Mike Saxon, who has punted very well today, will boom it on out of it. Sanders likes for the punt team to hold up the coverage unit, not to put on any type of standard return, to just hold him up and let him have a shot. And he's going to have a shot here from the 10 to about the 12, and that's all Ron Burton on the stop. Now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for an NFL Today update.
Steve, Don Mikowski of the Green Bay Packers is on fire. 17 straight completions. Ed West has scored 2 touchdowns, and this one has Green Bay right in the thick of it. 31-28. They're in the 4th now. New Orleans hanging on to a 3-point lead. Back to Steve.
Thanks, Brent. We thought we had a couple of hot quarterbacks, but Mikowski was 17 completions in a row for Green Bay. That's doing it.
Boy, is that strong?
Atlanta, 1st and 10 at their own 21. The Cowboys lead by 1 with 13-14 to go in the game. Miller firing again and completing it to Michael Haynes, who slides down at the 30. 1 yard short of the first down. Everson Walls was covering it. A 9-yard gain.
We look at the defense like the quarterback sees it. Walls covering on the play, makes the outside move. He's got too much of a cushion and makes the catch on the outside.
Haynes has caught 5 for 57 at this point. Now a 2 tight end offense for Atlanta on 2nd down and 1. Settle still fighting. Tremendous second effort as Settle gets about 6 yards, crossing the 35. So it's 1st down Falcons, and they're moving the ball better on the ground.
You know, the left guard talking about the Atlanta Falcons, John Scully, has not been in camp, and their center has not been in camp.
Radloff,
and so they're suffering a little bit up front. They think the young guys that they have playing are going to be good players, but right now they're a little concerned.
Jamie Dukes, who's playing center, is ordinarily a guard. Tackles are playing guards, guards are playing center, centers are playing guard. Batted down by Too Tall Jones. Big Ed got a big paw up there. Fired it right into the ground. One of the things that the Dallas coaches told us they wanted to do, Hank, was get Too Tall in Miller's face and get him up there with those big hands. It's worked twice today.
Well, he's got that big spread, and of course, you know, they're 2 guys are blocking him, but they're blocking him high, and as a result, he gets the hand, you know, gets the hand up in the air. If you block him low, the hands have to come down, and he can't do that.
When you're 6'9", it seems like every block would be low.
You would think so.
Miller with time again. Overthrows Michael Haynes. Haynes was open between Bates and Robert Williams, but the ball was overthrown, and that's one of the very few poor throws or miscues that Miller's had today.
He was lucky. He felt the pressure. As I mentioned earlier, the great quarterbacks have a great feel for pressure. There was pressure on his right side. He could feel him coming. He got rid of the ball just in time, or else he'd have been sacked.
Miller now 17 of 25 for 205 yards. Aikman 10 of 18 for 207 yards. So it's been a pretty close duel of the dueling quarterbacks. 3rd and 10. Atlanta at their own 36. Complete. Sean Collins with a 1st down in Cowboys territory. Ray Horton, the free safety, made the stop. A 22-yard gain.
I couldn't tell whether that was a design play. A lot of times, you know, a quarterback will go back in the pocket. Watch this now. He goes down to the inside. Walls is covering man for man. He gets a step on him, and he's scrambling to his left, talking about Miller. Throws the ball downfield, complete for the big play in a big game.
Big 3rd and 10 play that moves the ball to the Dallas 41. 11.5 minutes to go in the game. Dallas leading Atlanta 21-20, and the Falcons driving. 1st and 10. To Gene Lang. Great running inside the 25.
You call that a check pattern, Steve. He stays in the backfield like he's going to pass block. Waits for the linebackers. No, that really turned out to be an option play where he could go inside or outside on the linebacker, and he decided to go inside, made a great move, and picked up a 1st down on the play.
Fine running.
Terrific running.
Gene Lang with a 16-yard gain. Atlanta has reeled off 6 plays on this drive, moving it down just inside the Dallas 25. Complete. Tight end with Brad Beckman, cut down by Ray Horton. But a good first down gain inside the 20.
And the thing that he's doing well now, too, Steve, he's moving the pocket some, getting out of the pocket so that they can't tee off on him. In other words, they're rushing. Now they know where he's going to be. Is he going to be 3 yards back of the center, 5 yards, 7 yards? Is he going to be right or left? And it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And as a result, he's had some success by moving the pocket.
Bill Fralick was out there in front of him, convoying him to the left. And Miller has had an outstanding day throwing the football. 2nd down and 5 from the Dallas 19. John settled inside the 5. Robert Williams dragged him down after Bill Bates made the initial hit.
Somebody got a great block on the defensive end or linebacker that made it possible for Settle to break out to the outside.
It's a gain of 15 yards. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. And they are loving it here in Atlanta.
I think it was Mike Ken, number 78, making the block on the contained man and permitting Settle to jump way out to the outside for the big play.
Pressure, and they got him. Ken Norton on the blitz. Jumped right over and sacks Miller. That is the 2nd sack for the Cowboys.
Ken Norton coming on the left side of the screen, right between the center and the guard. He got a great jump, and you know what that means? That means that he was able to anticipate the cadence. He went on the cadence that they thought they would, probably 2, and was able to get the penetration. That's why you have to change the count as much as you can during the course of the game, because the defense gets the rhythm of it and creates a problem.
And in case you don't know, Ken Norton is Ken Norton Jr., the son of the former heavyweight boxing champion. 2nd and goal. Heller back to the original line of scrimmage. Just inside the 5. Ron Heller stopped right away by Gary Cobb and Eugene Lockhart. So it'll be 3rd down and goal just inside the Cowboys 5. And there is Hugh Millen with the offensive signal. No, he didn't like that one. .745. Now the Cowboys counter with their defensive signals. Eugene Lockhart, the defensive captain for the Cowboys.
And that was Dick Nolan calling the defense for the secondary.
Pitch to Settle. Turns it up. Touchdown.
Here we see the outside. Now let's see what happens out in front. Oh, some good blocks out in front. One, and you couldn't tell whether the linebacker or who it was overran the play. Horton, it looked like Horton overran the play, cut in behind him, and went in for the touchdown.
McFadden for the extra point. It is good. The Falcons have scored 17 unanswered points, and they now lead 27-21.
My Uncle Roy T. Cashin was killed when I was 11 years old. It had a lot to do with me wanting to become a volunteer fireman.
Good morning, Neil. How you doing?
We have a lot of trust in each other because our lives are in each other's hands.
Many of these firefighters trust Neil Cashin with their life insurance. He's been with New York Life a long time, and with the fire department even longer.
If he's in the building with you, you don't have to worry about him leaving on you.
New York Life, the company you keep.
Matthew, did you lose your razor? I can't get around my Adam's apple. You can't get around half your face.
Introducing the Slim Twin Razor System, with the slimmest cartridge to reach every place on every face.
How do I look? Ugly.
New Slim Twin from Schick.
High school is just like a memory because...
So I went waiting to see Caroline, right?
No.
She wasn't there.
Every time I went to the prom, the girl was taller than me. I don't want to talk about it.
No, I said I'd like to find a dress. And she said, is this for your daughter or for your wife?
It's for my
wife! You know why we don't talk about women? You only talk about things you know about, right?
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Dog pile on John!
This NFL game summary is sponsored by Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Falcons with 17 unanswered points, and Chris Miller, what a day he is having after 299 yards last week. He is overshining Troy Aikman. Coach, I mean, this dueling quarterback deal is, so far, at least the second half, Chris Miller's game.
But the big play, really, on 3rd and 10, they come up with 23-yard, a 23-yard passing play, and that's really the big play of the drive.
Dixon trying to get outside. Out to about the 34. Scott Case and Albert Shelley bring him down there. So Aikman and company back to work with their work cut out for them. 7:17 left to go in the game. It is 27-21, and what an impressive drive by the Falcons. And Hank, you mentioned that big 3rd and 10 play, a 23-yard gain. 11 plays, 79 yards, and they used up almost 6 minutes on the clock in doing it. So the Falcons lead by 6. Walker gaining 3 or 4 is all. Michael Reed and Rick Bryan bring him down. It's amazing over the years when you think of the fact, Hank, that Walker had 1,500 yards last year. Defenses are always geared to stop this guy, and today he's already got 86 yards.
Well, he's got a mentality where he never, he just doesn't think anybody can stop him, which is great.
Which is what all great backs have.
That's right. They think somehow, some way, regardless of what they're doing, they're going to make something happen and make yards in a play.
Second down, fake to Walker. Aikman over the middle, completing to Walker, and Herschel has the first down as he gets it out to about the 46. Jesse Tuggle and Mike Gann on the tackle. Well, the NFL is not the only thing going on today, although with a game like this you may tend to forget there are other things happening. In the National League, here's what's happening. Pittsburgh leading Chicago in the 8th inning. Montreal leading the Mets 1-0. 5-5 tie in Philadelphia with the Cardinals and the Phillies in the 10th inning. A no score in the first in Houston with Cincinnati there. San Diego and San Francisco later. Pennant races still alive throughout Major League Baseball. 1st and 10 Dallas at their own 47. Aikman completing it to the tight end Steve Folsom, who's bumped out of bounds by Andre Bruce. Mike Gann was chasing Aikman. Let's see what's happening in the American League. Cleveland-Toronto 1-1 in the 8th. Oakland trailing Boston by 2 in the 5th inning. Kansas City shutting out Baltimore in the 6th, and California shutting out Chicago in the 6th. The CBS Sports Wire is everywhere. Baseball, football, whatever you need.
Surrounded by it.
Herschel gained, or rather the tight end Folsom gained 7 on the reception from Aikman. So it's 2nd down and 3 at the 46. Walker banging inside, short of the first down. Rick Bryan and Tony Casillas combining on the stop. Clock running down to 5.5 minutes remaining in the game. Atlanta 27, Dallas 21.
You know, the Falcons in the past years have always been basically a 3-man front. Now they're overshifting, undershifting, doing a lot of things that they never had done before, and they're creating a lot more problems for people.
It has not been that easy, although Herschel may get 100 yards today. They have not been easy yards, and he has the ball again, and he stopped on 3rd down and 1. Jesse Tuggle right in the middle. And Mike Gann there as well.
You talk about bodies flying around. Tuggle really came through there. Number 58.
Jesse the Hammer. They put the hammer on him here.
Watch here. Now watch him come into the picture. Right there. Kind of slid off the tackle, but he made good contact initially. Number 58, Jesse Tuggle.
Cowboys are going for it on 4th down and 1. The ball at the Atlanta 44. Aikman on a sneak. I don't think he made it. It's very, very close. Boy, that Atlanta defensive line is just nullifying the offensive charge of the Cowboys. John Rady and Rick Bryan in there, and they say he did get enough for a first down.
Yeah, they got a good push that time. I thought they made the first down because of the push they got right up the middle. There you see it. And Aikman did a good job of getting down low enough where he had some leverage and could drive into the pile and make the necessary yardage on the play. Had he been straight up in the air, he never would have made the play.
He went right under 14-year veteran Tom Rafferty, the center out of Penn State, who really fired out of it. Walker tripped up as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Gains a yard or so is all.
It looks like some kind of a misdirection play would be very good, Steve. The Falcons are really chasing, especially if you fake the ball to Herschel and give the ball to somebody else coming back around the outside. It could be a very big play.
2nd down and 9. They may, however, put the ball in the air.
They got a lot of room on the left side. It looks like they got a pretty good cushion.
Aikman has time. The receiver fell down. Scott Case intercepts. Second turnover for the Cowboys, and the receiver fell down.
Look at all the room he's got. Now watch, he makes the cut, and he slips and falls. And Scott Case almost fell too, but he had enough presence. The ball was thrown right to him perfectly, makes the interception, and brings it back in a big play for the Atlanta Falcons.
When people find Oldsmobile has just doubled the cash back on a new 1989 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra, they tend to do two things: jump around a lot and buy one.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. This is the new generation.
Get up to $2,000 cash back plus an additional $600 for qualified first-time buyers. That's the biggest cash back on Cutlass Sierra ever, on one of the biggest selections. That's the Big Easy. Hurry, see your Oldsmobile dealer today.
Over the years, much has changed about the game. Today, the best in the business fly. And the airline that takes over 300 college and pro teams to their chosen field is United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Once upon a time, there was a guy named Goldilocks who was thirsting for refreshment. But this one, and this one. So then he moved to Diet Coke, and it was just right. The real cola taste you can drink more of because it's just 1 calorie.
Hey, somebody's been drinking our Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And there he is. Hey, it's the Three Bears. What's up? Yeah.
Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
The Big Ten power of Michigan State tries to topple Lou Holtz and the defending national champion Irish of Notre Dame next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Scott Case with the interception returned at 13 yards, and the story of the game evident in the score by quarters in the second half. 17 unanswered points by Atlanta, and with 2:59 to play, they have it 1st and 10 at their own 34. Settle, pounding straight ahead, And you can look for Atlanta to keep the ball on the ground a lot now, Hank, in spite of the fact that Chris Miller has had a great day throwing.
Well, they're going to try to take as much time off the clock as they possibly can and try to move the football. They got a good push that time on a first and 10 situation, and that's exactly what they want.
Picked up good yardage, 4 yards on the first down, so it's 2nd down and 6, and the clock continues to run now with 2.5 minutes left to play. Miller looking right at that 30-second clock, and he's going to take every second he can. Settle again. Close to the first down, maybe a yard short as he crosses the 40. And we'll come down to the, well, we won't come to the 2-minute warning because there's been a timeout called by Dallas. So the Cowboys use their first of their 3 timeouts, and then they'll get a second one because they'll have a 2-minute warning. A reminder coming up next here on CBS, the second half of our doubleheader, Minnesota at Chicago, as they bang in the Central Division. 2 teams, of course, expected to be at the top. They'll get after each other early. That's next right here on CBS as NFL coverage continues. Minnesota at Chicago. Here's a guy that is alone with his thoughts for the moment, Hank. He's had a good day. He certainly had nothing to do with the receiver falling down and the interception that stopped the drive. But he's watched another young quarterback have a great day, Chris Miller.
Well, they're both the same kind of people, really. They're both classy guys that got great ability, great talent, believe in that talent tremendously, have given the team they represent great direction. So they're very similar.
Miller 11 for 15 in the second half alone. 2:07 to go. The clock starts as Settle bangs for the first down. He has it. And the clock will stop for the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left. Atlanta with the ball and a 6-point lead. We'll be back in a minute.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Eagles quarterback Randall Cunningham can call on the services of the finest trio of receivers in the league. Tight end Keith Jackson caught 81 passes and was Rookie of the Year in 1988. Mike Quick made the Pro Bowl 5 straight times before an injury stopped him last season. And Chris Carter had 6 TDs on 39 receptions. 3 receivers with great skills who together as teammates are the best they can be.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
Get ready for CBS Premiere Sunday. First, it's the season premiere of 60 Minutes. Then, Angela Lansbury hosts the celebrity-filled CBS Premiere Preview. Get an inside look at the new season, plus a full-length sneak preview of Major Dad. Then, it's Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah in the network premiere of Roxanne. It's all new, all night on CBS Premiere Sunday tonight. TV Guide has made its choice. Their favorite this year is the famous Teddy Z. Oh. Everyone's talking about John Cryer as the famous Teddy Z. Premieres Monday on CBS.
The number on the down marker, the one Atlanta wants to see. The one Dallas wants to see is a 4 with a lot of yards to go so that they can get a 1 because they need the football back. Timeouts remaining, 2 for each team. 2 minutes left in the game. And the Falcons leading by 6. They have a 1st and 10 at their own 44.
And of course, Atlanta is going to try to do everything they possibly can to stuff the ball right at them and take as much time off the clock as they possibly can, which is very obvious.
On the Cowboys drive that resulted in the turnover with Case intercepting, Dallas used up over 4 minutes of time on the clock but came away with nothing. So now there are just 2 minutes left to go, and Atlanta with a big first down on Settle's last carry. Settle getting outside Jeffcoat, And run out of bounds. Nope, he was down inbounds, and the clock will continue to run. Eugene Lockhart on the tackle, and now Dallas calls timeout, stopping the clock with 1:48 left to go in the game. Atlanta trying to hold on. We'll be right back.
We've been called the turnaround company of the century. We've come from a little fledgling New England company to national recognition with money in the bank on the verge of explosion.
Peter Lyons gives very good business advice as a volunteer for the Boston Ballet over the last 5 years and as an agent for New York Life over the last 32 years.
Well, it means that we can envision our dreams by having Peter around.
New York Life, the company you keep.
This way, Mr. Starr.
Oh, thank you.
Life with me dad's a real scream. He needs a star vehicle like my all-new 1990 Cutlass Supreme. It's a fab four-door. With a hot engine that really screams.
Drop in again, Mr. Starr.
Hello, Daddy.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile.
This is the new generation of old.
Chris Miller and the Atlanta Falcons in control at this point with 1:48 left to go, and Jimmy Johnson, who's had a better week than last week, wants to get that ball back any way he can.
And Chris Miller has really been hot. 21 of 29 passes for 255 yards.
It is 2nd down and 8. Atlanta. They are at their own 47. Settle again. And maybe a yard, and that's all. And again, the Cowboys call timeout. That was their last timeout. And Vince Albritton, one of those, making the stop. So the Cowboys have burned the timeouts with 1:43 remaining in the game. It will, however, be 3rd down and 8. So we'll bring you up to date on the CBS Sports Wire. Miami finally won a game at New England, a tough place for them over the years.
Yeah, they haven't done that in a long, long time. And New England really is supposed to be a pretty good football team.
Check this out. New Orleans was leading big, and Green Bay, at last report, Don Majkowski was 17 completions in a row, and Green Bay now leading by 1 in the 4th quarter.
Well, to get him in the Polish Hall of Fame.
If anybody can do it, you can do it, right? Inductee that you are. So Miller coming off of 299 yards last week against the Rams with 255. But now running is the name of the game. It is 3rd down and 8. We'll see what they do. Settle again. He won't get the first down. Cowboys trying to strip the ball. Dallas cannot stop the clock as it runs now down to 1.5 minutes. And it'll be 4th down and about 7. So the punting unit is coming out for Atlanta. They're not exactly going to be in a big hurry about it, though.
No, they're going to wait as long as they possibly can.
Aikman's ready. He wants one last shot.
I was really surprised at the poise. You know, I've heard so much about him, but talking to both Troy Aikman and Miller, they're very similar as far as personalities.
They sure are. They really are. Confident, great athletes. Kelvin Martin back to receive as Scott Fulhag will kick it away. Good punt. Martin at the 10. Headed for the sideline. Fumbles the ball out of bounds. And the clock stops with 41 seconds left in the game. A reminder again, tonight on CBS is CBS Premier Sunday, featuring the season premiere of 60 Minutes, followed by CBS Premier Sunday and Angela Lansbury hosting a look at the new comedy Major Dad, starring Gerald McRaney, and then the hit movie Roxanne, starring Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah. All that tonight on CBS Premier Sunday following football. Aikman and company with 41 seconds remaining. They are at their own 21. They trail by 6. So they have 79 yards to negotiate to try to tie the game up. Deion Sanders in the game defensively at a deep safety, and the Atlanta crowd is up.
They got 8 defensive backs in the game at this time with a 3-man rush.
Aikman fires, intercepted by Butler. Bobby Butler down at the 12-yard line. I don't think Aikman ever saw him.
I don't think he did, Eddie. He looks like he's totally startled by what happened on the play.
Butler, who returned a Herschel Walker fumble 29 yards for a touchdown early in the game. There is, however, a penalty. And we couldn't even hear because of the crowd noise here. Apparently, there's a penalty that has nullified the interception. I never saw a flag, but it is first down Dallas.
I have no idea what they called. It certainly could have been on that play. It looked like he just ran right in front and intercepted the pass.
Well, the defense must have been offside. It's first down and 5. It was a 5-yard penalty. Aikman firing over the middle, completing to Michael Irvin at the 45. No timeouts remaining, so the Cowboys will have to hustle. There is an injured Dallas player on the field, Cornell Burbage. Fortunately for Dallas, he's near the sideline and they get him off. But now preliminary movement along the line of scrimmage and the flags fly. 11 seconds remaining.
Quite a shot of Burbage being hustled off the field by another player. Couldn't tell who it was.
I think Jimmy Johnson wants him to go as far as he can go. Just air it out.
Just pump it up, get it up in the air. Anything can happen. He's saying, go ahead, throw it down the field, down the field.
Now we get a report that the previous penalty was defensive holding against Atlanta, the 5-yard mark-off. And we'll see where the call is made here from Jerry Markbright.
Full start, number 64, offense.
So after all that discussion, illegal procedure against Dallas, we'll move them back 5 yards.
And there's a center.
Jimmy Johnson wants him to get it up the field, get up to the line of scrimmage. Don't go back in the huddle because they're going to start the clock as soon as the ball is ready for play. Deion Sanders is playing center field. He's back about 45 yards from the line of scrimmage. And Aikman right now is just everybody go long and I'll throw it as far as I can.
The old recess football play.
That's it. You be the bottle cap and I'll be the piece of glass and get after it. Seconds remaining. Aikman giving it all he's got. A lot of white shirts back there. Intercepted by Atlanta at the 2-yard line. 1 second left on the clock, and the Falcons have gotten a measure of revenge. It was in 1980. Deion Sanders comes up with the ball. He and Evan Cooper both had it, but it's Sanders who comes away with it. And the last time these two teams played in 1980 here in Atlanta, the Dallas Cowboys scored late in a playoff game to beat the Falcons. Today, a minor measure of revenge for Atlanta.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, we asked Too Tall Jones yesterday about if we remember that game. He said very, very vividly. And he said we remember it very vividly because they were laughing at us, thinking they had the game won before it was over.
And another guy who remembers it is Joel Williams, who played for the Atlanta Falcons. Too Tall for Dallas, Joel for Atlanta, the only two players remaining from this game in 1980. And this is the touchdown to Drew Pearson that won it for the Cowboys in the final seconds. Chris Miller will run out the clock. And the Atlanta Falcons have come from behind with 17 second-half points to beat the Dallas Cowboys 27-21. For Hank Stram, this is Steve Zabriskie saying so long from Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, with the final score, Falcons 27, Cowboys 21. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after these words from your local stations.
In 13 cities and 10 countries across the Pacific, they're playing our song. United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
This is CBS.
Our customers' communications can mean the difference between life and death. Who has the system they can really count on?
Southern Bell can design a central office-based voice and data network that integrates the hospital's computers with doctors' offices. This lets them share everything from diagnostic tools to accounting information, so they can keep cost in line and give patients the best possible service.
There's the answer. Southern Bell's the one to turn to.
There's something over there you can't get anywhere. Where the best food in town meets the best price around. It's easy to tell this is a new Taco Bell.
Now our prices are hard to beat, like 59 cents each for tacos, burritos, tostadas. So cross the border to Taco Bell, where the best food meets an even better price.
Make a ride for the border.
America's best-selling premium unleaded gasoline is now even better. With double the detergency to open clogged fuel injectors and keep them open for faster starts, better drivability. New improved SU2000. It exceeds the highest industry standard for intake valve cleanliness, and it's only from Shell. Experience the difference.
Holy cow! I'm not Kuppenheimer, but his quality leaves even me a little speechless.
I'm not Kuppenheimer, but when it comes to shirts, ties, and accessories, this is a major league place.
I'm not Kuppenheimer, but when it comes to making me look good, no one manages it better.
Well, I am Kuppenheimer, and when it comes to great suits at great prices, I'm the best game in town.
Kuppenheimer, America's #1 value clothier for men.
Your Metro Atlanta Ford dealers are taking the competition by storm with clearance deals on the #1 selling cars and trucks in America. Hurry, save cold, hard cash on a new Ford with low 2.9 financing or up to $1,250 cash back. Cool off with free factory air. Save over $3,400 on selected Ford trucks. Ford clearance deals are blowing the competition off the road with low 2.9 financing or cash back. Buy now and save at your Metro Atlanta Ford dealer.
Your child's safety is everyone's concern. Celebrate school bus safety this week and throughout the year.
Hopes your holiday has a little unexpected smile.
Okay, last time. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Tuesday nights, you can place your bets on Lefty.
Blow on these. No, I mean the dice.
With Who's the Boss, then.
Submitted for your approval. A boy. Suffering the tortures of algebra.
Kevin Arnold. The Wonder Years, and...
You let her go? She's grounded.
I guess I've been naughty. Roseanne, then Coach, father of the bride.
What about my dad?
Your father will come around. There you are! Who's the Boss? The Wonder Years, Roseanne, Coach, Tuesdays, terrific.
Winnie, you mean the
tell me Dad fired you, and you're standing here calmly serving breakfast?
Hey, I'm still the housekeeper. I have a job to do, and I'm not going to let personal feelings get in the way.
Good morning.
What do you want?
Winnie, you're not being fair. I had to let you go. That was business. This is...
Pleasure?
Winnie, you're overreacting just because you failed at one thing.
Oh, I failed?
You failed horribly, miserably, pathetically. But that's behind us now.
Dad, if you're trying to apologize, you're doing a lousy job.
I am not trying to apologize.
Oh, well, in that case, you're doing a fine job.
Oh, is everybody here against me?
Just be glad we're not a jury.
Bye.
See you, Winnie.
Look, Winnie, I am sorry you were taking this the way you are, but business is business. That's Mr. Stillman. Would you please make us some coffees?
I can make a cup for you, but since I'm no longer your secretary, I can't make a cup for him.
Fine, then make two for me.